Rumble, YouTube family, what's good? What's happening? Ironwork 92,000 live and in the house. Today, it is True Earth Tuesday. What's happening, y'all? I'm so happy to be here on this nice Tuesday. It's not raining as much. I got some decent internet. We shall see. We shall see, right? Welcome again. Welcome. And since it's Tuesday, hopefully you guys don't have too much work this week, considering it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, and then you got Monday off, some of y'all. And if you guys are retired, then maybe it all doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Every day is a Saturday or a Friday for you. That would be ideal for many of us. But considering gas is what it is, and sugar is what it is, and eggs is what they are, that ain't happening for much of us. You know what I'm saying? Even me, military retired. You know what I'm saying? I still got to go out and I got to get it. So is what it is. But anyway, again, welcome to True Earth Tuesday, where we discuss the true and level Earth. Now, it is True Earth Tuesday. There were a couple of reasons as to why I named it that. One of which we're going to discuss here today based off of a show that Level Earth Observer. Shout out to Level Earth Observer. If you haven't checked out Level Earth Observer, highly recommend checking him out. He's going to be part of the roll up of shows, or rather channels that I discuss later on tonight, throughout the night, of channels that you should or I would recommend. Right, these guys have a pretty good track record, very good content. Many of them, the vast majority of them being true and level earthers. Now, True Earth Tuesday again. And welcome for everybody coming in. Welcome. Let me see who's in the house right now for the True Earth Tuesday. Ida, hey girl, what's happening? How you doing, sweetie? Grandma used to say, Erica, how's everything, man? It's been a while. It has been a while. Excuse me. You always catch us. You always give us a little cameo of your appearance, but it's always a good time to see you. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for always being there when you can be there. It's good to see you. I'm surprised. Usually you have the same group of folks. Half Warrior, Shannon, Emerson, Nano CBD, Jimmy Satterfield, of course, showing up. Maybe it might just be my internet is slow as hell. You know what I'm saying? All right, Jimmy Satterfield, nice to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But he's you know what I'm saying? He's part of the furniture over here too. But again, as to what I was saying earlier, True Earth Tuesday, it's called that, and I'm going to show you the video here in a second. But it's vital that we don't lose focus as to why many of us are here in the True Earth / Flat Earth / Level Earth community. The reason I like to stick to True Earth, because True Earth is basically what we all can prove. You know what I'm saying? What we all can demonstrate, what we all can prove, and what we know this Earth is not. Truly not. We know that this Joker does not curve based off of the distance, based off of the distances that we're given. So if it turns out that the Earth really isn't 25,000 miles in circumference at the equator, right, then that in itself is a whole different problem. But if the Earth is a lot bigger than they say, and we just cannot detect curvature, of course, that's a problem, right? There's a problem with the integrity behind what it is these guys at NASA are claiming, right? There's a problem with it. And now, like everything else, if they lied about that, they lied about everything else. And then the rest of what it is they say is absolutely useless to that point, right? How do I sound, guys? Hopefully I sound good. Do I sound good? Do I look good in my cocaine dealer shirt right here? I hope you guys like my extra light blue shirt. You know what I'm saying? This is my special Guayabera right here. I love wearing Guayaberas. Thank you, Jimmy Satterfield. Usually, it's bad internet, or it's bad visuals, or it's bad audio, and then so on and so forth. So, thank you. But aside from all that, so we don't even have to talk about it later. Let's talk about some of these channels, right? I'm going to give a shout out to all these channels that I'm going to mention, right? But I'm going to mention them now, and I'll say them again, right? Just in case you guys didn't get them. So we have Yes It's Truth. Yes It's Truth is going to have a video that I'm going to kind of demonstrate to you guys today. Yes, it's truth. So check out Yes, It's Truth, Robot Polisher. Robot Polisher is a newer channel that I came upon earlier this week. It's funny because you hear the background, the leader of the WEF, right? The German guy, he's like, "You don't want to be a robot polisher," right? He usually uses that audio clip and stuff. But robot polisher is another one. Obviously, Jeranism, obviously DITRH, David Weiss's channel. Shout out to these guys. Witsit and Austin Witsit's channel, Witsit Gets It. We know about all the knowledge that we could get from that channel. It's an amazing channel. Vika Drazif, creator of the Mechanical World, highly recommended. Aloha from Florida. We know these guys, and we know these guys do damage, man. Taboo Conspiracy 3. He's on his third channel right now. So Taboo Conspiracy, shout out to him. Coffee with Jesus, Pastor Vincent Rhodes. Amazing content, amazing channel. I highly recommend him also because every single morning he's got something that he's giving to everybody. So Coffee with Jesus with Pastor Vincent Rhodes, right? Flat Earth with Coffee, Flat Earth, or rather Flat Earth and Coffee. This guy, he's been out the loop for a little bit. I think he may have moved to the PI. He comes from my old stomping grounds in Kingsland, Georgia. That's where I bought my first house. So shout out to Coffee with Jesus. That's another channel. Or rather, Flat Earth and Coffee. Excuse me. That's another channel. FWFE, Flat Water, Flat Earth. He's been coming back around, but he's got amazing content. Apollo detectives. Now, they're not flat earthers, but the Apollo detectives basically help ground us again as to why a lot of what it is that we've been taught, a lot of what it is that we've learned is absolute BS, right? So the Apollo detectives, their main focus a lot of times, actually all the time, is to focus in on the Apollo missions, right? All of those 6 flights that went back and forth to the moon and back to Earth. uh, these guys focus in on that. They basically tear it apart, and then they give you all the pieces and show you why the Apollo launches and landings was total BS. The Apollo detectives. Bart Sabrell follows up with the Apollo detectives, so those two kind of work in conjunction with each other. Bart Sabrell, good content. I think his is a newer channel, but Bart Sabrell, but he is not a flat earther. Those two are not flat earthers. They ain't riding with that shit at all. All right. AMTV. I think his name is Kevin Green or David Green, or Matt Green, something like that. Dude with the mustache. He looks a little bit nerdy, but he's really cool. Got really good content. Real smart dude. He also is a flat earther. However, his main content is not true and level earth. Goes to Judah Tribe, of course, the man that help me put all of this craziness together. The Ghost of Judah Tribe, always a welcome, always probably one of my favorite channels, even though I'm not a Bears fan, but a lot of his content is also Chicago Bears driven. Ghost of Judah Tribe, he does a lot of Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights, flat, true, and level earth. Matter of fact, his big thing is Flat Earth Friday, and basically he's basically the different strokes. I'm the facts of life. You know what I'm saying? Or whichever came first. He would be that one, right? And then we kind of work off each other that way. The Ghost of Judah Tribe is on Flat Earth Friday every Friday, and I just follow up on True Earth Tuesday every obviously Tuesday, kind of like tonight. Ghost of Judah Tribe, Leo, Level Earth Observer. You're going to watch another one of his videos tonight that I'm going to demonstrate. But Level Earth Observer is always, always, always a welcome. And part of his thing also is to tear apart a lot of the current moon, or rather space missions, right? He does an awesome job in running a fine-tooth comb through a lot of these missions and finding the flaws in a lot of the stuff that they claim that they do, right? But which we know that they don't do. So Leo, or Level Earth Observer, is another channel. Feed Your Mind too. This brother's got some really good content, right? Thing is, he don't put out much content, but when he does, it's fire. He's got a really good eye for things, and I love his content. Feed Your Mind too. D Marble. D Marble is like he's like a fixture in the true level earth community, right? D Marble, a brother out of Washington. You may have seen him in your early Flat Earth videos and True Earth videos, but D Marble is definitely one of those brothers that hold it down. He doesn't make too much content like he did back in the day. But he's still holding it down for the true and level earth community. So D Marble's another one. Jake the Asshole. Jake the Asshole's another awesome channel. He's got his own spin on things, but another true earther. Mark Sargent. Mark Sargent is another one. I don't know if these guys would be on the Rumble platform, but if you punch their names into Rumble, more than likely you'd come across them. So at the same time, uh, 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 subscribing to their content here on YouTube, you could also, and I highly recommend you also do the same thing on Rumble. And they may have a different style or a different approach on how they deliver their content on the Rumble platform. So check them out there as well. Flat Earth Reconnaissance. The Flat Earth Reconnaissance is another one of the newer channels that I've subscribed to as well. Great stuff, great content. Love this guy's stuff. He's a newer channel, so he's got less subscribers. So I'm recommending him, and then you guys just kind of fill his stuff up, and you also watch his stuff. A lot of his stuff is Torah based, right? And Torah based is always good, especially when it matches up with demonstrable science. So Effed Up World. Effed Up World is always a welcome channel. Love his stuff. We all know how Effed Up World rolls. He's got a little bit of a different point of view on things, but it's all right. You know what I'm saying? We welcome different. But at the same time, he understands that this is a level, flat realm, flat level, even plane, right? True. FEB, the Flat Earth Brothers, right? So these dudes, you know, they got the country accent and everything like that. Love their content. I think they're both biology teachers, and so their content is amazing. They don't make as much stuff as they once did, but whatever they make, whatever it is that they deliver, I watch, and I highly recommend you guys watch as well. Right? These guys have some really good stuff. FEB or the Flat Earth Brothers. Okay. Back to the Covenant. These guys used to be dropping stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? But um Back to the Covenant, he slowed it down. I think he might have a baby on the way. I'm not sure. But I know everybody got a baby on the way, right? Him, Taboo Conspiracy 3, Jeranism, not Jeranism, but Austin Whitsitt. Everybody got a baby. Everybody got a baby on the way. But babies are blessings. You know what I'm saying? Having little ones are always a blessing. Do not believe this nonsense society trying to tell you that babies burn holes in your pockets. No. Ex-wives, they burn holes in your pockets. Babies, they're amazing. They grow up to be good people sometimes. Not all the times, but sometimes they just do. But take care of your kids, man. Babies are amazing. They're awesome. Flat Earth Banjo. Flat Earth Banjo. There, he's another staple, right? We all know what Flat Earth Banjo delivers, and his specialty is like every single day. Flat Earth Banjo comes up with something every single day, so I highly recommend him as well. Divergent. Divergent is always a welcome channel. You know, Nico, he's always in the house. He always does his thing. Mr. Jones, what's happening? Brother, it is good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always, always, always a pleasure. And to round things off, there's another channel, honorable mention, to Open Your Reality. Open Your Reality. This man has now come into the arms of the true earth community, right? Open Your Reality. You may have seen some of his content and you just don't know who he is, right? But he's got some very good stuff, very good content, and much of his content is starting to revolve around the true and level earth and the true and level community as well. So all these guys that I mentioned, if you need me to repeat them, I'm going to go ahead in the description box after this show, and then I'm going to put everybody's name in, and then you should go ahead and check them out. But these are the guys that I watch. These are the guys that I enjoy. You guys may have something. I highly recommend after this, go ahead and put in the comment section who your top 3 or top 5 flat earth channels are. Anybody that I didn't describe, it's fine, right? If I missed you, trust me, I didn't mean to miss you, okay? I love your content if I've watched it before, but if I hadn't subscribed, that's what my audience is here for. These guys could definitely help me out, and then they could go ahead, they could put that in the comment section, and then we could all bounce off of one another, and that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody here for nothing. We're not here to style and profile. We're here to learn. We're here to learn from each other. We're here to come and get the truth. Really, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Of course. Now of course, I mentioned the Ghost of Judah tribe. You think I missed him? Hell no, man. That's my man right there. Don't sphere the truth. Okay. Don't sphere the truth. Okay. So I got another one. Don't sphere the truth. Obviously, the Founded Earth Brothers. Yep. See, I like this. I like this because even though I'm delivering something tonight and other nights after that, I mean, I want to give these guys some shine. And even though we ain't got the biggest crowd, you know what I'm saying? It's cool though. We ain't got the biggest crowd, but at the same time, I want to give the guys that I kind of not necessarily bite off of, but I use some of their material. And I thank them for the material that I get to use, right? And I want to display it to you and kind of discuss what it is that these guys did the legwork into producing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of talk on it from our perspective based off of what it is that they captured. But there we go. Internet doing its thing. All right, but it's not raining, so God, I got to kind of run my gums a little bit, bump them just a little bit. Conspiracy music guru. Don't believe in fantasy. He's always a welcome, always a good channel. That's another one. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this in the comment section. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys why it is what it is we describe as this earth being, right? Is very important. How we talk about our community even is important. This is why to me I've decided, not chosen, but rather decided to go with the term of true earth, right? Flat earth, like I get it. When you say flat earth, it basically gets people to understand what it is you're trying to describe to them. But when you say true earth, you're taking it to a totally new level, right? You're not talking about just the earth is a pancake, because then you got those people that are totally uh pretentious, and then they're like um oh well, what about mountains, what about valleys? Those are curved up, those are high, and those are low. So you got those people talking that stuff. They always want to sit there and trim hairs. But we say the true earth, right? Based off of demonstrable science. And why it's so important to describe that, here I am going to show you right here exactly why. And we're going to have to basically change much of how we speak about this community, and much of what it is we've seen, and much of what we haven't seen. And that's okay, right? You can't come up and, like, I totally get it. And even me, sometimes I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it sometimes. But without further ado, let me stop sitting there bumping my gums, man. Let me show you all what I'm talking about over here. Right here. So right here is Level Earth Observer, basically describing what not McToon and Austin Whitsitt were doing during Jeranis, or not McToon, but that looks like Craig FTFE, right? Fight the Flat Earth. So what these guys were describing. But without further ado, let's get to it. Here it is, right here.
About a month ago, I became aware of a channel called The Final Experiment, where this channel is hoping to get two groups of people, flat earthers and globers, to go to Antarctica, I believe in December, in the search for the 24-hour sun, which globe believers are clinging onto as some sort of last hope to prove their globe earth theory to be a reality. Nothing in the sky, lads, nothing in the sky will ever refute demonstrable reality. The practical references we can test and verify for ourselves. But what's been incredibly revealing here is the globe believers' desperation and attempts to try and misrepresent me by putting me in the mix of this final experiment, attaching straw man maps and models to me that have never been my claims, and also claims regarding the sun and what it does in the south. Again, I've never stated regarding the sun what it does in the south. Who cares if there's a 24-hour circling sun in the south? I don't. Doesn't refute anything I've ever said. Oh, remember, I'm a demonstrable realist. The reason I choose this route and not to use the words flat earth is because the words flat earth are loaded and propagandized. And
See that? And he's absolutely right. He is absolutely 1,000% right. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that we can prove that we see tar. We can, we we have circumstantial evidence that shows that we haven't gone certain places that we've claimed to have gone, right? We have circumstantial evidence to show that we can't move at the speeds that we claim to be able to move at, right? So, really, all we can do is play within the ring that we're given, right? The more evidence we get, the bigger our boxing ring gets. But the boxing ring that we have is the size that it is based off of the evidence that we have, right? So if we got a 20 by 20, that's what we rocking with. We rocking with a 20 by 20. Once you start getting outside of that and start talking about things that you've never done, you've never seen, you can't show and use as an experiment to demonstrate that we cannot do certain things or we can do certain things, then all bets are off. You understand what I'm saying? If you cannot do it or you haven't done it or you cannot prove it, all bets are off. Let's continue with this video.
I won't have loaded terms associated with me that come with lots of baggage that isn't my claims, which is what ditching the words flat earth and simply sticking to what I really am. That's all I need to be to prove the globe is impossible. But it would seem the globe.
And that's right. That's right. You just stay in your lane. That's it. All you're doing is describing live, nothing more, nothing less. This Joker doesn't do this whole thing that they talking about. We can't do it. You got to ask the questions. Do we have a physical curve where this horizon is? Do we? And then here's the follow-up. Here's the answer, question and answer. This is typically how it works, right? Where's this physical curve that you're talking about? Like that, and then they say, there's a physical curve because boats go over the horizon. And then we follow up with, that's not true because we can demonstrate that we can recall these boats, right? We can demonstrate, for example, on a surface ship, we had something called big eyes, right? Big eyes were these huge binoculars that was one inside the bridge, and then you had another set on many surface ships on the skin of the ship, right? You have them like on the forecastle and stuff. But the big eyes are these huge, like 120 millimeter binoculars, and you can see on a super clear day, you can see for miles and miles and miles and miles, right? And then now you also have to remember that the ships aren't low to the ground like that oftentimes. Sometimes, depending on where you're at, you could be anywhere like 40, 30 feet high. And so it gives you the opportunity to see for miles and miles and miles out, right? So these are the big eyes. So we can basically knock that out the park and say, no, we could see for a lot further than you guys think. Let's continue.
Globies are on damage control here, desperately pushing this final experiment. And what makes it worse, we've got flat earth characters online, seemingly speaking for everyone, when clearly and obviously not everyone believes the tosh that's being pushed by certain characters. Look.
If the thing happened at the South Pole and the 24-hour sun was seen, would that convince you the Earth was a globe?
Yeah, it would be a major problem for flat Earth for sure. I've said that on record 100 times.
Okay, no, I was just wondering. Do you think that is the position of the majority of flat earthers?
Yeah.
And people wonder why I don't use the words flat Earth. No.
He's right. He's right. He is right. And I'm going to let him continue and then let you hear his reasoning behind much of what he's saying. Listen.
With it. That's not the position of a majority of people. I know lots of people who make no claims about Antarctica and lights in the sky. Do you know why? Because they haven't been there. And even if they did go there and there was some circling sun for 24 hours in December, it doesn't debunk demonstrable reality, does it? No. What it does debunk is your straw man maps and models that have been pushed by the mainstream and certain FE characters online. You got this character now, Witsit, claiming that all flat earthers are on board and it'll be a problem for the flat earth if this sun is circling in Antarctica for 24 hours. Well, I'm not a flat earther. I'm a demonstrable realist, and it's no problem for the demonstrable reality, mate. Whatever goes on in the sky is not going to make tower cranes on a spinning ball a reality. It's not going to make fucking air pressure systems be able to reside next to a vacuum without solid separation. And it's not going to make water, large standing bodies of water, suddenly have the ability to display convexity upon its surface. Gravity, the way reality presents itself, that's been termed gravity, that doesn't help because that can be overcome by a gentle breeze. Therefore, it makes it, well, it doesn't help, it just makes it worse. So we've got these people claiming a result. I'm starting to think perhaps there is a 24-hour sun circling in Antarctica. And this is being a big setup all along. I kind of had tremors about a year and a half ago, which is why I stopped using the words flat Earth. I've always used them because they get an emotional response, or sort of people certainly respond in an emotional fashion to those words and have all sorts of knee-jerk reactions. I used to use those words to trigger and highlight people's behavior and the misrepresentations attached to that.
Now, that's a good point. That's a clever trick. But I don't know if I'd go that far, me personally, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get why I see the method behind his madness. But at the same time, he brings up a very good point, because now it brings us to a crazy place. Now, let's say that Austin Whitsitt, Jeranism, and all them, because lately, I believe from what I've heard, Jaren does not want to entertain the idea of going to Antarctica anymore. Not like he was actually going to be able to go there, but if these guys had the money and they had the funding, Jaren was not going. He was talking about it on one of his shows, and he just was like, yo, look, if you guys lied about that, there's a good opportunity for you guys to, if I were to go on that trip with you guys, y'all would probably try and kill me. Which, me, honestly, I think that's a really good point by Jaren Campanella, that he could go out to one of these little expeditions and the government could come around and take him out. Y'all just saw what they did to the Iranian, allegedly, possibly did to the Iranian president. His helicopter just went down in a fog, right? And we know that him and that country out there ain't Rael in the Eastern Med. They having problems, so we know people could be disappeared. It could be anybody could get it. Anybody could get it. And if this government or another opposing government feels that you are treading on their waters and they don't like it, you can get it. I can get it. Anybody can, right? But whatever, man. We press on. We're going to die anyway. So the best thing to do is just tell the truth when you got it. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue with the video. I'm sorry. Sitting there bumping my shadow.
Simply stick to demonstrable reality. It hits home a lot harder. and you're left with no slop, just simply demonstrable truths. And you can't get gaslit by online characters or globe believers. All they'll do is end up lying and misrepresenting, and as a result, exposing themselves. So who cares if the sun circles for 24 hours in December in Antarctica? Doesn't change the results of demonstrable reality, so it makes no difference whatsoever to me. It might burn a few flat earthers who've made silly claims that they haven't had a chance to test and verify for themselves. It'll hurt them. It'll hurt people.
All right, I lost y'all a little bit, but I paused it for y'all. My bad.
Realist. No. What happens in the sky happens in the sky, and I don't care because it doesn't change the fact the globe's impossible. So keep pushing your propaganda, keep pushing your FE characters out here to push things that, quite frankly, are absurd. I'm seeing a very, very crafty big game here at play, and I've just exposed all of it by simply standing by what is. Don't need to say a word. Just cite practical references which prove the globe's impossible. I don't need to entertain maps, models, or make claims about places I haven't been or things that have no relevance regarding the tests we can all verify for ourselves. Crazy times, desperate times, very telling times. Have a good one, everyone.
Awesome production by Leo. Leo comes with it like he always does. But there you have it. There you have it. I think Level Earth Observer, he says it flat out, pun intended. See what I did there? Anyway, but he says it. We need to watch how we say it, right? If we haven't done these things and hadn't been to these places, then we just haven't, right? I've been to Antarctica. I've done some other things that would easily prove that this realm is not a ball, especially based off of the numbers that we were given. So yes, I'm not going to go down the litany of things that I did. I think I've drowned you guys, and it's not that I'm bragging, but I've been blessed, right? And I've been lucky enough to be able to do these things, so now I could come back and talk to them on an unclassified level, right? So yes, I've rode the submarines, flew the planes, dove the waters, rode the surface of the waters, right? And I've been exposed to fog, to clear days, to snowy days, to smog, right? I've been exposed to it all. I've been exposed to it all. And I got to learn and I got to see for myself and experience for myself, not just me by myself, but alongside a lot of my other shipmates. And I have my shipmates that I've actually reached back to, and we kind of discuss it. We talk about it, especially the guys that I rode submarine. That's as far as I go. We talk about it and we understand that this is even. It is true and it is plain. Now, we have to understand when we come out and we say flat earth, yes, and it gets a response back, right? A strong one, especially depending on who your audience is. You get a strong response. And that's okay, man. It is what it is. But the claims that we make, we need to be careful. We need to be careful with them because I don't know if you've been to Antarctica. I know I hadn't been there, right? And that's real. But even me, every once in a while, I'm guilty of it. Every once in a while, I come out and I say, well, the ice wall and, places that we haven't been, right? Terra Infinitium, right? The lands outside the ice wall. It sounds good. It sounds sexy. It sounds otherworldly because it is. It is otherworldly, right? In theory, but do we really know? We don't. Now, could we say, hey, this is my opinion. I think I feel that there might be land outside of here. That's cool. But you can't mix your opinions with the actual facts, with what the facts are. That's the dangerous territory that Leo is talking about, right? Because, you know, like I thought about that too, even though I'm confident that you're not going to have the sun appear the way the globe folks think that it'll appear. What if it did? What if it did? Right? What if it did? Does that actually now mean that this place is a globe? That then turn the earth into a globe that's spinning, doing all these outrageous maneuvers that they're claiming? Not necessarily. But you want to know something? The globe, they're going to in their line of thinking, they're going to think they're going to think, "Oh, you want to know something? Yeah, it's a globe. Look at that. The flat earthers were dead wrong. We just proved to them that the sun is 24 hours at the South Pole, therefore making our globe the final thing. It is the reality." When in fact, it could mean something totally else, something totally different, right? But who's to know that? Because we weighed so heavily in but the ice ring, and doing its circuit around the ice. Half Warrior, what's going on, brother? It's finally your ass is in here, right? Half Warrior, what's good, man? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Better late than never, right? But it's always good to see you, Half Warrior. It's good to see you, bro. But no, um, back to that. So now you're left with that. So and that's what I'm saying. Like, these globe dudes are they're gonna sit there trying to think that we need to eat crow, and some of us will have to, because now it's their sun, their version of what the sun is. um their version of the sun is what's valid, and what will basically be the thing to claim that their globe is a reality, when in fact, it don't mean shit. Me personally, it's like, okay, all right, it ain't going outside the firmament. We don't know why it's flying. We don't know how it's flying up there. But then, if there are people up there, how do they get that thing to lock and engage the thing in place? Like, show us. Why can't you show us? And really, here we go. So at the end of the day, Mr. Jones brings up a very good point right here. So flat, forever looking after the truth. Basically, that's all we trying to do, right? We've Many of us, I don't know how old you guys are. I am 45 years old, right? So I grew up the time of I grew up during the tail end of the Cold War. There's some of you guys in this that's in my channel that came up in the 60s. Some of you guys were born in the 50s, came up in the 60s. So you got to experience the craziness that was the 60s. And what do I mean by the craziness, right? You had all these lies being perpetrated. You had all these assassinations being touted. You had so many assassination attempts in the 60s, and so much cover up on top of cover up on top of cover up on top of cover up. There we go. See, Half Warrior, you were born in 67. So shortly after you were born, Martin Luther King got killed, right? Shortly before you were born, JFK, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, all these dudes got assassinated. The 60s was like a time of just pure Che Guevara, I believe, got assassinated in the 60s as well. Everybody was getting it in the 60s, man. But nobody could put a finger on anything. And everybody was lying about who was doing what. Also, what else happened in the 60s? We had the Vietnam War. That was based off of a lie. The Gulf of Tonkin incident didn't happen. You didn't have a naval ship that was attacked. No, instead you had a couple of sailors doing their doing live fire drills off the back of the boat, and then they just kept it moving. But then the US government turns it into something different. You know what I'm saying? They turned it into something different. They basically got the US population to buy it, and then boom, we're now in a war. We're now in a war we have no business being in. And then that thing carries on for like another, right? And so we're so used to being lied to that we believe in nothing. Somebody made a very good saying that French people, we're not French. I get that. But somebody, I forgot who it was, but they said something to the effect of French people think everything is a conspiracy. French people don't believe in anything. Matter of fact, spy, the word spy is a spinoff of the word espionage, or spying, basically, right? So the French were basically like, I wouldn't say the masters of spying. That probably would be but I mean, you had spies everywhere. You always had spies throughout the world. But the French basically turned it into something that's sexy and cool. But the French people, they know bullshit, or when they smell bullshit, they think everything is bullshit. And basically, many of us within the true earth and outside of that, many of us believe that our government and those working outside and adjacent to the government is full of shit. They've lied to us about everything. They've lied to us about everything. So I don't think that what the French believe is without warrant. You know what I'm saying? I don't think what they believe goes without there being a reason as to why they believe that. Because now here we are in the true and level earth, right? And we're learning that this earth is not what we think that it is. It just isn't. Ooh, John Thor, y'all. John Thor is another channel. John Thor, love his material, love his content. A lot of these guys, anytime they put something up, like I'm on it just like that, right? John Thor is another channel. But folks don't understand we're here because of the amount of bullshit that we've had to deal with over the last 60, I would say as far as 80 years. Those last 80, probably the last 100 years, right? You can include the Bolshevik Revolution as well. Now we're starting to learn why that actual fight started. And it wasn't at all why we thought it did. Like we it's ridiculous the amount of BS and lies that we've had to deal with in the last 5 to 6 years, right? Us, all the knowledge and all the information that's coming to us in torrents, right? And it's really making us feel some kind of way. Now you include that with the fact that gas prices are high. Inflation is through the roof. Nobody could buy a house. People are losing their jobs. People are mad as fuck. Your president ain't shit. The vice president ain't shit. The president of Israel is trying to cause World War III. Yo, is at their wits' end. Everybody is mad as all hell. And nobody believes a damn thing that this government is saying. Not a thing. Not a thing. And here's another thing. The government's getting even more scared because a lot of things that many folks thought about different races and different people, it's turning out that the government was lying about that too. And with those lies turning out, you're starting to learn the truth outside of those lies that we were given. You know what's starting to happen? The people, especially, I think this is what's very important, is that the American people starting to learn fingers into one whole fist. It's starting to turn into this shit right here. It's gone from this and it's starting to become this. And this is what the government is afraid of. The government does not want this. They don't want this to happen. They don't want the blacks, the whites, the Asians, the Hispanics, and you throw another, whoever else miscellaneous in there, right? They don't want this. Even like this, you're going to have a hard time. They do not want this, but it's starting to become this. And people are getting very pissed. People are getting very annoyed, very annoyed. Slowly but surely, when we start to learn the truths, as we start to learn the truths, we're slowly freeing ourselves, right? So for all these people that come into this channel and then they want to just crap bomb me and say that I don't know what I'm talking about, i.e. Mr. Not Mr. Jones, I am Wilson, right? You have the guys like I am Wilson, which I let him talk. I let him say his piece, right? But the thing is that this basic and fundamental lie that we were given. Hey, look at this dude right here. Taboo Conspiracy. Ben, it is an awesome pleasure to have you. And it is always, always a pleasure to have you. Guys, Taboo Conspiracies here. Good to see you. Always a pleasure, Taboo Conspiracy 3. Always a pleasure. So, yeah, and yes, you, I am Wilson. You, are you going to accept the final experiment? Listen, I am Wilson. I'll just like Leo said, right? Just like Leo said. And I admit that I have been guilty of touting things about places that I haven't been, i.e. Antarctica. I haven't been there. Do I believe in that model? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Yeah, that's my it's a high point. It's a 9 mil. It's a 9 mil carbine, right? So that's my little high point. I put it back there just every once in a while I just let off some rounds out front. But I am Wilson. You know what? Whatever it is, listen, at the end of the day, I am Wilson. This is what we do know. All right? I am Wilson. Unless you want to say something else, this is what we do know. We cannot detect movement of this earth. That's one. We can't. We have the same set of stars in the sky every night. That's two. I am Wilson. These boats that every globe person, everybody that believes in the globe, and we believed it at one time too, right? Every boat that leaves our line of sight and then looks like it drops, I am Wilson, we can recall those boats every single time. Unless the atmosphere doesn't allow for that, right? If the atmosphere is forgiving and it's a clear day, we can recall all of these things, right? Yeah, exactly. And a raindrop is curved. So I am Wilson. That's what it is, man. What the math that you guys have given us, it doesn't work, bro. And I want you guys to take notice of something. You still have Operation Bluebeam. These guys can, you know what? Jaron Campanella could very well go over there with Austin Whitsitt. Everybody could be back there. The government could very well let them go to those places, let them sit there. And then you listen. My imagination compared to the imagination of these that have been doing this for over hundreds of years, right? The masters, if you will, they can project. Think, or for you to be naive enough to think that they won't put some nonsense in the skies, sprinkle up the skies just to prep it for whatever they want to project in there. You're mistaken. This is technology that we have. Plus, here's another thing. I don't know how the Chinese do it, but they're talking about making sun. How is it that these guys are capable of doing these things and achieving these feats? I won't know. I'm not one of those scientists. I'm not claiming to know. But the thing is they can fool you. They can trick your eyes. But here's the thing, with the conditions of what this world currently is, it is flat, even, true, and plain. It is true based off of what we can demonstrate. And this is what a Leo level Earth observer is talking about. He's like, hey, based off of what we can explain and what we can show, this is demonstrable science. That's how he says it. I kind of fucked up his accent. Shout out to Leo. You got some good stuff though. You know what I'm saying? But he puts it out there plain and simple that we prove what we prove. We shouldn't be trying to prove what we can't prove. So now this is going to put us in a jam. What do you got? It's going to put us in a jam to where now we're going to look crazy. And then we're going to look in the true Earth community. Many of us are going to lose a lot of credibility just based off of this experiment. There's a possibility, not that it's truly going to happen, but there's a possibility. You got flat earthers, few good men. Low earthers can't handle the truth. You can't. Because I'm making gonna So yeah, I'm gonna let you talk your talk, and I am Wilson. Nah, that's a lie. You know that's not true. We ain't gonna let you. We ain't gonna let you steal the show like you have a couple of times. You're gonna lie, and that's okay. But we already have demonstrated that there is no curvature. I wish there was. I wish there was some kind of curvature to where my channel wouldn't have to exist. And if it did, all I'd be talking about would be cookies and transformers, right? Pastries and stuff. Some of the best pastries in the world. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about the flat earth. I wouldn't be sitting here risking my livelihood, my employment, and everything else talking about the true and level earth. I wouldn't be doing this. I am Wilson. Here's another thing that you don't understand, man. Like, we don't sit here and we're trying to make fools out of ourselves. That I think a lot of you globe people that are you guys are so egotistical and full of yourself that you swear up and down that there is something that we're missing. We learn the same nonsense that you learned. We learn the same lies that you learned. We learn the same stuff. There's nothing different from what it is you learned. And what new material do you have that we don't know, Ian Wilson? Nothing. There's nothing new that you know that matter of fact, there's a lot more that we know that you don't know. And what you're learning now is probably from us because we had to feed it to you. Because that's another thing with you globe people. You guys happen to be very, very lazy. Not only are you full of yourselves, but you're also extremely lazy. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Much of what it is you claim that you know, it's been so burned and ingrained inside of your head that you're not willing to look outside of it. Whereas us, on the other hand, we know your lie before you even start talking about it. We know what you're going to say. So a lot of us, we were told the same thing. We were very much like you. But the only difference is that we went ahead and we investigated it just because we thought it was BS, just like you did. The only difference is that we came to a point where we basically shed our ego and you didn't. So you're stuck outside the party. You don't know what the hell it is we're looking at. It doesn't make any sense to you because you're not willing to drop your ego. You're not. They love their big balls. Can I answer? What questions are you talking about? And we're not going to sit here and talk with your mess. All right. I am Wilson. We're not doing that today. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk about this, of course, debate between this guy Brian and Grandpa Sean. I'm not going to try. Here's the thing, y'all. I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to talk bad about Sean, the guy that was debating this guy they call Brian. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of this debate. And then you guys could see how this debate went. And at the end of the day, listen, doesn't matter if Brian won or Sean won, which Sean unfortunately got killed. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't the this realm is what it is. It doesn't matter who wins the debate or how heavy they win it by. Let's check it out. Here's some of the clip. Here's some of the show tonight.
Got you literally showing on screen your lines going down to the celestial equator. Okay, that is a plane. There's no getting around this. I know you don't like it, bro, but if you could admit this, we can move past it. I understand you've made the math work. You found a way to make the math work, or not you, but other people have. Okay, but once we get past this and you admit that they're all going down to a celestial plane or a sliced orange, then we can move this conversation forward. For fuck's sake, dude.
There's no plane, man. There's no plane. It's not measuring anything from the plane. See, I removed the here. I can oh, hold on. See, I can get rid of this line here, and I can make it perpendicular. Right.
Look at that.
I mean that's perpendicular to the edge. See, this is perpendicular to this curved surface. I don't give a crap about this line and this line or the blue inside. The surface of this curve.
Look at this. This I don't know. This old man, he played one and he played knick-knack because he was dumb. I don't know why this man decides. I just made that up, by the way. I thought that was pretty clever. I know. But I don't know why he decides to use this graph to demonstrate what he claims is reality when this does not. This, I'm sorry. This is just showing why their math is nonsense and it's crap and it's BS. You see what I'm saying? Look at this. Look at this. Like I almost feel bad for him. I'm not going to talk bad about him because he's a grown man and I got to respect my elders. But look at this. This man is crazy to think that this is the composition of the world, and I feel bad for him. That's the globe people for you. Let's continue.
Is what we're worried about. See, this is the zenith of the person at 90 degrees or 80 degrees north latitude. They have to look down 10 degrees to see Polaris. How are you not following this, man? This right here is not the baseline. This is not the baseline. These lines are radiating out from here so I could line them up better to be perpendicular to the surface of this, or to this curve. What are you getting about this, dude?
Bro, no shit, Sean. Okay, no shit. So now you're saying, okay, that them lines all stop. Okay, so but where do they meet if we just keep going down in your sphere? If we take them lines you have projected, the vertical lines, where do they all intersect?
These vertical lines that point straight to Polaris, they stop at the eyesight of the person on the surface of the earth, man. They don't extend down.
Okay, well, keep going. Keep going past the eyesight, Sean.
What do you mean going past the eyesight?
Dig deep. Dig deep, bro. Dig deep. Keep on
They
going
aren't
down
looking
and
down.
chop
They're
into
looking
your
up.
sphere. No, keep your line going. Okay, the perpendicular lines that you freaking erased. Okay, so they go beyond. So you have to have two representations. You have to have reality, which is your vertical lines. That's reality, bro. Nobody's disagreeing with that. That is reality. Up here, I'm disagreeing with. The edge of your circle, you've got diverging lines. So which is it, bro? A, take the perpendicular lines you have and tunnel into your earth and tell me what happens. Or B, start from the surface of your earth with your equation and show me how all the lines are diverging, because you're acting like, well, this is reality, but this is how we measure it. Here's reality, the perpendicular lines, okay, go into a plane, but this is how we measure it. It's down to a point. You can't have both, bro.
Nope.
What are you not getting?
Our perpendicular. If you take a styrofoam ball and you take skewers and you push it into the ball perpendicular to the surface of the ball, are they all going to meet? Are all the tips going to meet at the very center of that ball? Yeah, that's what I'm describing here.
Yes, yeah,
is
they
these
are. Now do the
perpendicular
math.
lines that go from the center of the sphere out to the surface and then extend up at as the zenith that is above the person that's standing right here. On this one, this is the zenith of the person standing right here. For this person, this is the zenith of the person that's standing right here. What don't you understand about this? These vertical lines, these lines going from top to bottom on the screen, those are from the eyesight of the viewer at 60 degrees, at 70, at 80, at 90. This is where the person's looking. All these vertical lines, they're looking at the same place, and I'm not going to scroll out again and show you Polaris where they're looking.
Okay.
Oh
So if we
no.
all went down to the center point, okay, from each of your degrees, we'd all be looking in different directions, right?
No,
Okay, so
no,
reality
they're all
is
looking at the same direction. They're all looking at Polaris, man. Nobody's looking straight up. They're all looking at Polaris, except this guy. He's looking straight up because Polaris is straight up.
this is ridiculous. We need to talk about this and why
Yes,
we can't. Let's get past this, okay? So in my opener, I showed, for one,
Poor Sean, man. Sean's an older man. See, I'm sure he's a good dude. He's a brother. He's a dad. He's a grandpa, probably a great grandpa too. And you know, he's just long in the tooth, man. Long in the tooth. He just needs to go eat his meatloaf and have himself a beer and go to sleep, man. It's way past his bedtime.
hold on. For one, I got to ask you a question to see where I got to start from. Okay, I can show a horizon, from pretty much any surface, depending on how low I get. Do you agree that there's a horizon on a plane? Even on a flat plane, Sean, you agree there would be a horizon, right?
It'd be
Okay, so we've beat the whole horizon on a flat plane a zillion million times. There is no curvature on a flat plane because the plane is flat. That's it. What we got here? So, here's the truth right here. I do not know. I am Wilson. Not going to sit here and bullshit you. Have no idea what crossed in front of the sun. I don't. I don't. A lot of people say it was the moon. Um, I don't see a moon because if the sun is shining, which it was that day, no matter how much they tried to cover it up with particles and they sent airplanes out. I even recorded a few airplanes that were crisscrossing in front of the sun, dropping their chemtrails, doing that. So you couldn't see the moon anywhere, but you could see something obviously occulting in front of the sun. Something was in front of the sun. I don't know what it was. Everybody said it was the moon. People of the globe said it was the moon, but I honestly, but you truly don't know what it was because if that was the moon, that thing would have been shown from a distance. But nobody sees the new moon, I am Wilson. And something was in front of the sun, but not the moon. Because if there's a moon, we would have seen the moon before something, whatever that something was, got in front of the sun. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. That's what demonstrable reality is. We were demonstrated is on the 8th of April, right? So again, saying that I don't know means here's okay. So I am Wilson. You're right. Doesn't say that. Sure. Let's say that. Let's say that me saying I don't know. It doesn't mean that the Earth is flat. That is true. But based off of your calculations, with the Earth being at 25,000 miles in circumference, moving at a particular speed, seeing things drop at rate, right? If you already have a, like I've said before, if you already have a set circumference, you have to have a drop in curvature. You must. It needs to follow. That is the logical progression of it all. It those things we can recall. And based off of what the atmosphere is giving us, we can get it all. Now, I am Wilson, you have to remember too. You guys are the ones. Nano, what's going on, brother? I am Wilson. You have to remember too. You guys are the ones that also said that we know the earth is curved because boats curve beyond the horizon. You guys have said that to us time and time again, right? But the things in the atmosphere are visible. I am Wilson. You fucking with us, man. So now, based off of that metric right there, that boats go beyond the horizon, and then once we recall the boats, now it's not enough. You guys start moving the goalposts, and then now you're saying, "Oh well, that's because the Earth is too big to see an actual curvature." Like, which one is it? It ain't good enough to you. So basically, we've demonstrated that despite how far you could see, Taboo Conspiracy 3 already did the experiment, or has the dude do the experiment with the mountains at 700 miles. They've already done the calculation that at that distance, it should have dropped like 40 miles beyond the curve. But it doesn't, because it is level, even, and plain. Right? They've demonstrated these things. We demonstrated so much that we've run out of demonstrations, and we forget that we've done the easiest of the demonstrations. That now that we do the hard ones, it's just not good enough for you. So basically, what we've done now we realize that we've checkmated the hell out of you. The globe has run out of gas, right? You guys have run out of gas, and you're running on fumes, looking for the nearest gas station. And your nearest gas station is basically a gallon here, a gallon there of lies. And we're chasing you again. And you're running out of gas. You continue to run out of gas. But our truths, our plain truths, is what's giving us the momentum. You have to understand that part. No, it doesn't go, but that's the thing. There is no horizon. So now I know you fucking with me. Wilson, you fucking with me, man. You done. You done, homie. Yeah. And no, you're right. Nano CBD, you're right. You're right. They're there to waste time. And that's what it is. They've been checkmated, and they've come to a place to where they're not satisfied until we blow a gasket, which I'm not blowing no gasket. I don't lose my shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all of the globe, you really need to open your Bible. I highly recommend you open your Bible and learn a little bit of something. I highly recommend you open your Bible, man. I am Wilson. I'm gonna have to put you in timeout, bro. You ain't wasting our time tonight. Sorry, brother. You're a good dude, but I can't. I can't tonight, my man. Can't do it. Can't do it. Where we at? Okay. So that's what it is with the globe. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I don't like having to do that with him, but he keeps bringing up the same nonsense that's already been proven to be nonsense. And I am Wilson. I'm sure you're a good dude. You're a good man. You're a solid brother, and you're a good family man, and you treat people good in your community. But you can't with the bullshit no more. Back to the video.
Too far to see, and it'd be blurry, and it would never block anything in front and in back of it. It would never obstruct anything. And I
Would
have
there
a
be a
question.
horizon?
Let me ask you a question. I just answered your question. Let me ask you a question about your guys can seem to replicate an effect that it takes ships at sea miles and miles, dozens of miles to accomplish on a 10-foot flat surface. How is that?
I'm sorry, y'all.
Just by opening a door and letting a little cold air in, Sean. It's not magic, buddy. If we're gonna freaking scale something, see, my model and my side like to use reality demonstration, not just some fantastical shit that you dreamed up in your mind that doesn't scale the great scale negator, like, well, if we were bigger, we'd be able to explain gravity and we'd be able to explain all this stuff. Okay. We're scaling reality.
All right, okay. Now, Sean, I get it. He's mad pretentious, right? But still, he is our elder. He is an older man. I don't I don't condone, me personally, I don't condone cussing at old folks like this. Like that bothers me. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just setting my ways. I don't like that at all. I don't like talking to people that are older than me, especially significantly older than me like that type of way, no matter how hard-headed they are. There's actually a passage in the Bible that talks about that. That talks about don't basically I'm paraphrasing and I'm probably sinning for paraphrasing, but basically it says don't sit there talking shit to old people. Now, the Bible don't say shit like that, like I'm cussing, right? But don't sit there talking bad to the old people. Instead, like show them where, be gentle with them. Be gentle, show them where they erred. Because the thing is a lot of times these ways, man. They're stuck in their ways, but you ain't gotta sit there talk. You ain't gotta sit there cussing at them like that, man. Me personally, I think that's a problem with our society today, man. Is how we talk to our folks. Really, I mean, whatever, man. Let's continue. I'm not even going to get into all that.
And just letting in some cold air, Sean, and that light is disappearing right in front of the camera, or going to a pond. Of on a good calm day, you got a nice
Boy,
flat
you
piece of
crazy.
water. Your globe says there should be 3/4 of a millimeter of
Okay.
curvature. Yet when I'm a half inch above with the camera, with a 2-inch light, it disappears right when I get down to a half inch. So you're not going to tell me Earth curve blocked that light. Now your response normally is, if you're like on comrades, that light's refracting down. It's shining 360 degrees, but we're catching the lights, let's say, that was headed at our eyebrows. Okay, so it's appearing higher because it's coming in from a
Yep.
higher angle. We're not getting the lights that were coming right for our eyes. That light went below us. We're catching the light that was going to our eyebrows or above our head. Which
I feel you. I feel you. Respect is a two-way street. It is. It is. And I think we would achieve that if we did the small things, right? Of course, respecting the young folks, definitely respecting the old folks. If we did that, I think the respect would definitely come back. But we're not, and we wouldn't. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel that it is a two-way street. But if we gave them the respect, we would get the respect as well, right? It's just one of those things where a side has to give. Some side has to give. Let's get back to the joint.
which is making the light appear higher. That's the ray diagram from Rumpus, Tune, FTFP, everybody. If you disagree with that, let me know. But my question is that how can a light disappear completely if it's refracting downwards at 360 and shining 360 degrees? How is that even possible, Sean?
Good point.
You showed an inverse temperature gradient, which makes the light go up. So you didn't show regular refraction that makes the light bend down. You showed the exact opposite, which is very dishonest. You've been told about this before. You've shown this presentation before, or something similar to it, and you've been educated
No, I
on
haven't.
why
Stop
that
lying.
is dishonest.
Oh, jeez. And that's oh man. So this is the part that gets me. That's what gets me. All right. Now I know about the whole respect your elders thing. That's what gets me is when some that's what gets me every time. I just like I don't even get mad at it. I'm just like it doesn't that's how you know they're running out of gas. They call you a liar. You're lying. Like what am I lying about? Like I'm presenting to you your evidence. This is your globe that doesn't work. It falls apart at every turn, right? At every curve it falls apart. Pun intended. You guys see what I did there, huh? I'm here all week. So At every turn, it falls apart and it doesn't work. How are we lying? Exactly. Like I saw them doing it to you, Taboo Conspiracy, the other day. I saw them doing it. We just saw it. We kind of talked about that. You did a demonstration. You showed it, and then they're like, "Well, no, you didn't do that. Now you used the wrong type of laser." And I'm just like, "What kind of laser is he supposed to use?" And then he did it. Taboo Conspiracy does it on in a hot weather. They don't like it. Oh, there's mirages. Okay. He does it on ice in cold weather. It's bad. It's too cold, so it's gonna drop. So it's like, dude, Goldilocks don't fucking live here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get temperate soup. So it just doesn't make any sense that they're like, oh, you're lying. This is, like I said, this is how you know you've checkmated them. So these guys are jumping back and forth, basically looking for their. Actually, if you look at it in this demonstration right here, you're going to see something very similar to what it is I'm saying. Watch.
Go ahead.
Bro, stop lying to the people. Sorry about that, Jared. Stop lying, bro. What are you talking about? I've been told about this. Hold on. We showed the thermometer, and it was 50 degrees at the surface and 53 above it. Do you not, for one, stop lying, dude? You never discussed this in my life, bro. Okay. What we have discussed is temperature gradients and refraction directions. Now, I showed on screen that the temperature was 50 degrees down low and 53 above it. So the light's supposed to refract toward the lower temperature, right? And the denser medium. So y'all ignore temperature in reality and say that the pressure density
Shannon.
overrules that. So now you've
Welcome,
got both
sister.
on your
Good to see
side.
you.
So you've got lower temperature and a denser medium down low. So that light should appear, right, Sean? Since we showed on screen with the thermometer that
That's right.
it's perfect for downward refraction. So that light should not disappear, right, Sean? It should just appear higher and higher and higher. Is there a way for us to refract it downward enough to
Exactly.
make it disappear? Like, how's that even possible? Or do you even understand what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Sean.
Look at this. Look at
There we go. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're talking gibberish because you showed a video that introduces a temperature inversion, which makes the light bend up and not down. See, standard refraction light bends down. That's why we can see things that are further down. What you've done is you created a temperature inversion, which brings the light up, which is going to make the light go down.
Oh Lord.
See,
have
you
mercy.
think that the default position is that the horizon is always refracted up and some sort of refraction brings things back up. That's not how life works. That's not how reality works. I
Oh.
demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt how mathematically the flat earth cannot work. It's impossible for the angles to Polaris to line up with more than two angles, 2 points on the flat earth. It's impossible. And if I can share my screen one last time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Where is it? There it is. If we do this,
We see the celestial sphere again, just
there we go. Yeah, I can take this guy. I can move him all the way over here. Let's I have to move this out of the way. There we go. Now I'm going to do a vertical split. So we've got a split screen. So now you see what the camera sees, and I'm rotating it up. It's at the equator, and that angle is about 30 degrees, 35 degrees. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't see Polaris at in Antarctica. Absolutely none. There's no geometric reason why you shouldn't see it. Now you talked earlier about me having to make up math to compensate. That's exactly what you've done, Brian. You've ignored refraction, you've ignored the effects of refraction, and you made up some convoluted mathematical formula that doesn't work in all cases, but seems to like put a band-aid on the problem in certain cases. See, that's being intellectually dishonest.
All right. So this is what I think people need to remember is that we're not making the case for especially when it comes to this math. We're using their math against them. This is your math, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like there's nothing more we could say about that. Their math doesn't work, and we're showing them why their math doesn't work, and then we're being told that we're liars, and then we're getting laughed at.
You're
Yeah.
saying intellectually dishonest while dodging a question, bro. Okay, to show me the same bullshit. You're trying to drag me back into your lack of understanding. So everything we see in reality, Sean, drops as it gets further away. Everything. There's no exceptions, pal. Okay, birds, clouds, okay, airplanes, everything drops
The
into the
sun.
distance. So we expect nothing different with the celestial bodies. Sure, they take a little longer, but I just demonstrated at the beginning that if something's directly overhead and we measure 69 miles, we get a height of 3959. It's 3 times 69. Okay. Now, when you get 1,400 miles, you get a 1 degree difference. So if you want to see who's right, let's pull tape measures 1,400 miles, Sean. Okay.
Good luck.
And dude, you're over 1,400 miles. What are we looking through? A ton of atmosphere. Yeah. Through a ton of atmosphere, Sean. So my refraction equation, okay, I'm not making this as a claim. I just made this equation just to shut you up, bro, to be honest. Just saying, how does this possibly work? You got
All right, guys. So, just so you have another feather in your cap, another bullet in your chamber, write down and remember this name, W. Winkler. W. Winkler. That's how you spell it. Winkler. Not like Winkler, like Henry Winkler, fame from Fonzie from Happy Days. No, Winkler. W. Winkler. Apparently, he was an engineer building bridges way back in the day, and he said curvature is laughable, basically, blah blah blah, this and that, the third. Of course, welcome. I am Wilson. You need to behave. I'm sorry, but yes, things drop, and math shows how it drops. Of course, math. Listen, math can show you drop. Sure, I am Wilson. These math can show you drop. Math can show you curvature. It can. Math can. But the math that you guys are giving us with a 25,000 mile circumference ball of an Earth does not work. It doesn't work. Listen, I am Wilson. There is a group of people that maybe you want to tell this to. It's called Architects and Engineers for Flat Earth Truth. Yes, they are a real group of engineers. They all have degrees. They all have done this for years upon years, and they're tired of the bullshit. And obviously, they don't have anything to lose, which is why they're out there on the street making this much noise that this earth is true, level, and plane. It's a real thing. These are real people. I am Wilson. Do you know that there wasn't GPS? There wasn't always GPS. My dad is an electrical engineer, right? And he's had to do in New York City, he's had to do projects and lay line down for miles and miles and miles, or help guys lay miles and miles. Do you know? And here's another thing, I am Wilson. I just spoke with a surveyor. I spoke with a surveyor from the other day at the American Legion, right? This guy's been surveying for them like 40 something years. They didn't have GPS back then like that. Not for survey, not for him. And I asked him, well, did you guys use? He's like, we use GPS now. He's like, back then, he's like, hell no. He's like, I use my theodolite. I didn't have all this and all that. And so what they do is they do things in like 10,000 in 10,000 yards or 10,000 feet. I forget which. And I asked him, do you account for Earth's curvature? And he said, not at all. We never account for Earth's curvature. He kind of chuckled at me. He's like, no, we don't account for that. No, we don't. He's like, you could go out 100 miles if you have the proper equipment. He's like, but GPS is good for that. Sure, GPS is good for that. Now, we hear all the rumors, and, people are like, oh, I get the GPS math. I get this and I get that. I am Wilson. Listen, before there was GPS, people were using other things. They were using the theodolites. And before, hundreds of years ago, before they had that, they had something similar. So I don't know if you guys have ever played football or seen football where they bring the chains out. That's what they used ages ago. They used something similar. I just asked this surveyor the other day. I forgot the name of it, but it's a series of sticks, upright sticks. You pull it, you stretch it, and then they're attached by these chains and links. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and yeah, Can Be, I agree. Welcome, Can Be. You're a new guy here. I've never seen you. And yes, I agree. Don't fall for their BS. But this surveyor just said they would use these links, stretch it out, and then they'd attach another set of links, and they do it again, and then they do it again, and then they do it again until they get whatever it is they got. Let me tell you, I am Wilson. This world was wonderful before what it is now. It's still wonderful. It's not a bad place, right? But the wonders of the world, how do you think they did it? They didn't have GPS back then. And they understood that this realm was level and even and plain. That's what they knew. They understood what it was what it was, and they worked with what they had. If it was curving and if it was rotating and moving and doing all these other obscene, damn geometrical gymnastics, which it's not, then that's something totally different. But they understood that this place is what it is. And the level, they use water as a level. Like, we use nature to demonstrate what reality is. We use nature, not BS and some math that you guys drum up for stuff that doesn't even exist. Let's see what's here. GPS model derives all measurements of the equatorial plane and disregard the southern exactly. Disregards the southern hemisphere. I'm going backwards. Math theory. Wow, I did not know that, but I'll check that out. GPS work. Of course. Okay. I am Wilson. Yes, GPS manages to work. It doesn't change the composition of this realm. It doesn't. I agree. It might be a trap. That's a good point, and we need to get that out there. They split the gold in two halves, measuring equatorial plane, aka flat Earth. Yes. Error tossing these. Error tossing these. That's a good one. Tossing said that error toss in these measurements. Wow. Error toss in these measurements. Throw everybody off. Sorry. Oh, Half Warrior brother, it's good to see you, man. It's always a pleasure, brother. I'm praying for you. Wonder if Erica's still here. I'm praying for you, brother. You get better now, and you have a good night, man. Give the whole family my love, man. Give the whole family my love. You have a good one, brother. Be easy. Good night. And what's this? Actually, they built towers across the U.S. and actually measured the current. Oh my God. Some more lies. These engineers of the past are saying, we don't use curvature. They didn't. Do you know these wonders of the world? The Taj Mahal, the pyramids. Nobody took into account, even before Eratosthenes, if he even existed, because a lot of people are saying that that's debatable, but even before Eratosthenes, nobody took these things into account. This bridge in China, this super long 102-mile bridge, nobody's taking any curvature into account. The great railroads of our plane, nobody's taking any curvature into account. Nobody is. New York City was built up. You think they're taking curvature into account to put up New York City and Manhattan? Mathematics experiments, yes, and they wander off through the equation exactly after equation and eventually build a structure that has no relation to reality. And Mr. Jones, that's a very good point, because you have these scientists like Mike Faraday, Babbage, you have all, like, my God, you have Paulin, like you could Maxwell. We can go on and on with these scientists, whether they were of the globe belief or not. They always had something. You want to know what that Nikola Tesla? You want to know what it was? They had their theory, but they took physical objects and they showed you, they demonstrated to you based off of these physical objects what their theory could do. Right? So these men, these women, they demonstrated to you what the hell they were talking about. The only one we give the most praise to is Albert Einstein. Why is that? Why is that? Nobody's talking about Mike Faraday. Without him, you wouldn't have the damn capacitor. You wouldn't have it without him. Nobody's talking contributions that he's given to this world. Not a drop about Michael Faraday. Maybe if you're an engineer, right? You'll which everybody wants to talk about Eratosthenes, right? Finding curvature, which that's debatable. But nobody talks about Archimedes. Everybody wants to talk about Newton and Einstein with their theories. Nobody talks about Archimedes' principle. As when I was a Navy diver way back when, right? Archimedes' principle is the principle of density, buoyancy, and density. And it was one of those formulas that you had to memorize. And it goes like this. Let me see if I remember. Any object partly or wholly immersed in a fluid is buoyed up by the force equal to its mass, buoyed up by the force of that liquid that basically display. I forgot. I don't know. I was doing good, but it's something along those lines. You could look it up online. Anyway, Archimedes' principle basically discusses it talks about the relationship between an object, a dense object, in a fluid. So a lot of people think that the fluid has to be water and that the fluid, that's it. No, air is also a fluid. So things that fall through the air column and hit the ground, they're automatically going to be triggered to say gravity. It is density. It is density. It's about density. Okay, something normal from I Am Wilson. Thank you, I Am Wilson. To him. Taj Mahal is miles wide. Railroads never go over mountains. Okay. Why would railroads have to go over mountains? Why? Why not just through them? Just put them through a mountain or around a mountain. I wouldn't put it over a mountain either. There's so many risks you run if you were to put them over a mountain, in my opinion. But anyway, as I was saying, as far as Archimedes' principle is concerned, Archimedes' principle describes the relationship of any object that's partly or wholly immersed in a fluid. When they're talking about that, they're talking about the relationship of that object in a fluid. So the first thing that comes to mind will be water. But if you take it out of water, that object is still in a fluid. That object is surrounded by fluid, the air. If we broke it up into layers, guys, if we just broke it up into layers, the higher you climb in altitude, what happens to the air? The thinner it gets. This is a natural phenomena, right? The air gets thinner. You'll have some things up there like clouds and everything else like that, but that's it, really. Like the higher you climb, once you pass 10,000 feet, you're going to have a hard time breathing. You're going to have a hard time breathing. Your skin is going to dry up. You're essentially boiling you're boiling your flesh. You're boiling your flesh, and your blood is literally boiling. And so a couple of things could happen as you climb higher in altitude. You run the risk of getting the bends. If you come back down to earth too fast, faster than you need to, you can risk getting some form of decompression sickness, right? It's a backwards version of the bends, or I think they still call it the bends, but it's a type of decompression sickness. It's so crazy that decompression sickness is so crazy that if you were to dive on Monday, you cannot fly out that same Monday because you run the risk of getting some kind of decompression sickness. If you were to dive in the water, right, and you were to dive, let's say 45 feet, 45 feet is plenty. Hell, 20 feet, 25 feet. If you were to dive in that much water and say you were down there for like 30 minutes, you better not be flying. You better not be flying. According to the Navy dive manual, right? Unless they've changed it, because there have been revisions since the last time I actually read it. You shouldn't be taking your ass in any airplane within 24 hours of diving. And they may have changed it. They may have changed it to 48 hours. I don't know, or maybe 12 hours. I don't know. They may have revised it. However, when I was diving, right, and I was diving every single day of my life, every single day of my life when I was in the Navy, I was in there. You couldn't go within a 24-hour period because you run the risk of getting the bends. Now, why is that? It's because of the amount of nitrogen gas that you take on when your body is under pressure, right? Thing that the water does to the human body, to flesh and blood, where you take on a certain amount of nitrogen gas. Now, the deeper you go, the faster you take on nitrogen gas. That's just how it is, right? The deeper you go. If you break 100 feet or 99 feet at 100 feet, you run the risk of getting nitrogen narcosis. It's not a disease, anything like that, but it affects everybody differently, and it affects different body compositions a little bit differently, right? So that after you leave that depth, right, and then you start coming up in the air column, depending on how long you spent in the water, you shouldn't be coming up too fast because you run the risk of getting the bends. The bends, arterial gas embolisms, or AGE, or some form of decompression sickness. Now, when you finally slowly come up in the water column and you fully decompress as per the Navy dive tables or some sort of dive table, or what your dive watch calculations say, you come up to the surface, you chill. When you go up in the air column, right? You go up. All right. Say you're not protecting yourself with the pressurization of a cockpit or a airplane cabin, right? You're just going up a mountain and you climb, you climb, you climb. Then we're dive that we took. Now your body is starting to release gas. Your body is starting to expand. Instead of being pressed down, the air pressure is so thin at altitude. Can't breathe, you're having a hard time breathing, you're getting super dry, and then your blood is boiling. There's a weird relationship between sea level and climbing up in altitude. Nobody of the globe pays any attention to that. The thinner air, the thinner air, they're going to say, oh, there's less gravity up there. No, the air is not as dense up there, right? The air is not as it's not as dense. It's I don't know how else to put it. It is not as dense up there. You're going to have more moisture the deeper or the closer you get to sea level. You will have more moisture here. And then it gets to a point to where so much of the moisture collects that where else does collected moisture go? Some of it stays and remains as clouds. How that happens, I have no idea, but it does. But the vast majority of it sinks. It sinks because it is collected and it is so flippin' dense. What we got here? Much nicer guy when played with Montrose. Common sense is no longer common. Truth, I agree. 20 balloons, 50 miles apart. Like it. You want to know something? You want to know something? 50 miles apart? Where could we do that? 20 I would put money towards that experiment. 20 balloons, 50 miles apart, in some way equals, yeah. So what's the middle? Or hell, you could go from Pennsylvania. That's a little bit more country. From PA, Pennsylvania, that's roughly like 100, maybe like 100 miles from New York, right? And then you can set up that from Pennsylvania, say to, I don't know, Arkansas or something like that, right? I would pay for an experiment like that. That is a constructive experiment. That way, we get a bunch of these freaking Mylar balloons or these bigger balloons, right? We set them up, we launch them, we let them sit there, they're tethered, and then you could see the next one 50 miles apart. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Auguste Piccard, the first man to reach the stratosphere 10 miles high. It seemed a flat disk with an upturned edge. Yes, I think that was the 1932 Popular Science. It was an August edition, actually. That's the funny part. That magazine month was named after Auguste Piccard. Funny. How exactly does this prove the Earth is flat? Altitude is from the Earth's. Okay, so what he's saying, I am Wilson, is that at every distance you have curvature. If there is no curvature, right, you will see all these balloons at a particular level. All these will remain at a level. Or at 50 miles, that those balloons should be going downwards. They should be at it because this earth is physically curving. Based off of your claims, this earth is physically curving. No, Picard did not state it. Okay, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Look up Auguste Picard. Look up what he said. Line up balloons and track the sun above the earth. Yeah. I am Wilson. Make sure you look up what Auguste Picard said. Because in that Popular Science magazine, I looked it up so I could purchase it. It is $700 for that edition of Popular Science. That magazine is over $700. I looked for it everywhere, and it is 700 beans. I am not paying $700 for that magazine. Will I regret it? Possibly, but I ain't paying no $700 for no damn old ass magazine that as soon as I touch it, it's going to descend in my hands. Mr. Jones, just go up to the equator on the equinox and track the sun and see if it ever curves during the day. I don't understand. What do you mean, ever curves? I don't understand what you mean, ever curves. Sorry, but you can't see 100 miles. What? You can't see 100 miles. Who can't see 100 miles? There's a gentleman that had seen 100, more than 100 miles, more than damn, I think it was what, 700 miles or something like that. And you can see it on Taboo Conspiracies. Taboo Conspiracy 3 has that on his episode where he demonstrates, actually this cameraman demonstrates the mountains. I think from Beirut over to Cyprus or there we go. There it is. Yeah, ball has no face because ball face lie, boy. The globe is a ball. Oh yeah, ball face. I thought I came up with some new shit. Thank you, Mr. Jones. I thought I came up with something new. What does the lie Globers do? The Globers do be lying though. There we go. I had coming in. But yeah, man, Globers do be lying. But yeah, man. What was that? What was I talking about? Damn, over there, I'm getting a stroke. I'm over there getting the strokes. Stroke me, stroke me, stroke, stroke. Yeah. But yeah, man. Like all of that is right there. There's no reason for us to make it up as we go along. We're just trying to find the truth as we go along. Really, that's it. Right. And the only smoke that we getting is people of the globe. Because once we find out that this realm truly is flat and there's no bones about it, right? Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers, Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, the X-Files, all those things out the window. Out the window. All those things lose efficacy. All those movies, all those shows lose their sting, they lose their power. Because at this point, that's absolute fantasy. The only good thing you get out of them is humor at that point. Yeah, because there's no possibility of that bullshit no more. That's what you guys are really afraid of. We're about to pull your card. And after we pull your card and expose your face and we're going to show you guys what y'all look like, y'all ain't going to like it. Right? And then here's the thing, we're going to remember. We are going to remember all the ridicule that you've given us. All you globe people. We're going to remember. We're going to remember. And then when that day of reckoning comes, we're going to call you all out. We're going to call you all out to start repenting. But some of you guys, y'all, I don't know what you're going to look at a cliff and y'all going to look like a bunch of lemmings. That's what I foresee. Y'all are going to look like a whole bunch of lemmings. Now, me, I don't mind. If the place is a globe, then it's a globe. It is what it is. It's just strange how it functions, right? I don't mind. And I'll be the first one to admit, hey, shit, I guess I was wrong. But that's the problem. That ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Satan's lie and anything the Bible says about reality, Globers don't believe. Exactly. 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 So the globe is Satan's lie. Anything the Bible says about reality, Globers don't believe because they follow false light. Exactly. And that coming from somebody that sin, boy. Sin. Boy, I sin. I sin. I've sinned a lot. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna lie to you. I've done a whole lot of sinning in my life. I'm not gonna lie. And it doesn't matter how and plain the earth is. When it's time for me to go, God's gonna be like, let's watch this tape real quick before I send you down where you need to go with these gasoline drawers. You know what I'm saying? Let's watch this tape real quick and we'll see. But yeah, I've always thought that's one thing. I'm not going to get too much into this part, but that's one thing I've always thought. I feel when as we live, as we grow, we collect our memories, right? And everything we experience, our body experience, our cells experience as we grow, and then we have children. And then your first child experiences what you experienced at that time. Then you have another child after that, right? They experience you at a much later date. And then you have another child after that. And they experience you at a much later date. So the children that you get, basically, they're like save points in a game. You know what I'm saying? So your kids are your first one is, hey, you were in your 20s, crazy. And not saying that your oldest kid's going to be crazy, because a lot of times your oldest kid's mad responsible, right? Then your second kid is your middle kid, and then he's got middle kid syndrome. Then your third kid, a lot of time, could be your old soul, right? And I'm not saying that this is how all kids are, or this is how it just is, but I feel that as we grow older, before we have our offspring, we retain memory within ourselves, within our DNA, based off of the experiences that we have. And we take that memory from our father, and it- our father takes it from his father, and his father, your grandfather, takes it from his father, and then so on and so forth. We pass all of that information down to our kids, so that when we pass on, and when we go and we meet the Most High, because I believe that we meet something, right? Now they probably tap into what your soul has collected. Your soul is like I believe that your soul might be some kind of recording device. And it's like, okay, what did you do with your time here? Let's put this soul in the VCR. Let's put it in the heavenly VCR. Let's see what's going on here. And now you get to watch your greatest hits and your greatest fuck ups. Isn't it amazing? And it's just something I just wanted to spit out there, because it's been something that's been weighing on my mind. And I'm just like, dang, man, all this time, all this stuff that we're doing, what is it for? Right. And I guess we get to see the part that we played in the development of our lives, but not only our lives, but those to the lives of those closest to us, and those not so close to us, how we may have affected people. Right. And I think we're doing something here tonight. All I'm just trying to do is tell the truth. That's it. Let's see. For even Satan's disguised himself as an angel of light. Yeah, he does stuff no one could understand. Exactly. Yeah, that. Yeah, exactly. Making it up, put him in a white lab coat, praise him, worship him, and then make us feel like we're dumb. If he's the only one who understands, is it really is it really so great of an equation, or is it total BS? No, that's true. I agree. And I agree. I agree. It's a lie. Bending space time and this one and that one. They're just it's totally shameful. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. I'm surprised, man. Usually Ghost of Judah Tribe be running up in here late around here this time and stuff, but he ain't nowhere to be found. Damn. But at least, hey, I got you guys. I got you, babe. I got flowers in the spring. It's like, let me stop. I got y'all, man. Ghost of Judah Tribe be coming in here. But I don't know, man. He's over there on Chicago time. So it's like 10:50 his time. He's usually coming in here late. Lord knows. You know what I'm saying? But still good to see him. But Ghost, he didn't show today. It's all good. But yeah, man. Definitely food for thought. Definitely something to gnaw on and to think about, for sure, for sure. I tell you, man, this is a funky, funky world we live on. And it there's a lot of truth that we're looking for. What sucks is when you have people of the globe playing interference. They're like a bunch of gremlins and just tearing stuff up, just making things difficult for no reason, even though we're explaining and we're showing to them these truths. But it is what it is. You could do what you can with the education, the knowledge that you got, right? You're here where you are right now. You do with it as you will. Do with your time as you will, based off of what it is you know at the time. That's all we can do. So my true earthers, thank you for joining us again on True Earth Tuesday. And I am going to hold true to that promise. I did want to show you this. I wanted to show you this. We're going to jump off of the Jeranism thing. I wanted to kind of discuss this with you as well. Roger is known for the Truman Show. I'm going to write that down. Richard. How interesting is that? How interesting is that? Wow. Richard Luke Rothschild is known for the Truman Show. I just wrote his name down. I'm going to scope that out. Now, I wanted to show you this from Taboo Conspiracy. He brought a Wizzo out. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to get off of Jeranism. Stop screen. Boom. There it is. And so I'm going to show you guys this. I don't know if you saw it, but if you didn't, or rather, first off, shout out to Taboo Conspiracy 3. He's an awesome dude. Ben is awesome. He's got some great content. He's a good dude. At first, I used to think it was Rob Skiba just disguised as somebody else when I used to hear the voice. I was like, damn, this is crazy. But I'm going to show his content right here. He's got some of the best content that I see. Anytime he drops something, I jump right on it. He's one of those channels. So I'm going to share that with you. And we're going to kind of talk about it a little bit. Let's do it.
Today, I am excited to share with you some more powerful flat Earth evidence. If you think the information presented in this video is as important as I do, please share this video with others. That's all I ask. This evidence comes from a veteran F-15 Eagle weapons systems officer, which is a Wizzo, who was the backseater in an F-15E Strike Eagle. If you've seen the old movie Top Gun, the character Goose was a radar intercept officer, or RIO, which was the Navy's version of a Wizzo. The Wizzo essentially manages the weapon system and navigation of the aircraft. In short, I had a Zoom meeting with a veteran F-15 Wizzo and Cujo, a veteran and retired F-16 pilot, and YouTuber Run Boston Bear. Help in facilitating the discussion, and Cujo adding his fighter pilot expertise. I wish I could share the entire conversation, but the F-15 Wizzo wisely prefers to remain anonymous.
And before we continue, Ben, that's another thing. Thank you very much for not disclosing this man's identity. A lot of times you have these people of the globe that come out and they're like, oh, well, why don't you say who it is? Why don't you? And I'm like, you're out of your. Here's the thing, Ben, you did an awesome job for not disclosing his information. Thank you again for that. A lot of folks don't understand these people in the military work very hard for very little. Okay. And these guys, these fighter pilots, they bust their ass to to climb inside that cockpit to do some of the craziest things that a lot of times they can't even talk about, just to come home and get not treated the best. Right. So the last thing you want to do is put these guys out there on Front Street for their beliefs, right? Or for what it is they actually learned, because that's not fair to anybody. Oh, I'm here again. Do you got me? Do I look good? Do I sound good? Y'all got me? So yeah. Thank you again, Ben, for not putting this guy on Jump Street. Okay, let's continue with the video.
So we're going, which will be annoying for everyone. Unfortunately, the Globe Zealots would do everything to hurt Wizzo's career for revealing this information, and we're not going to let that happen. But the great thing about this information, it can be tested by any weapon systems officer and fighter pilots. In fact, we encourage and hope others will share their expertise, because this certainly proves a flat Earth.
Yep.
The information provided by Wizzo builds on the information previously provided from Cujo. In case you are unaware of his interview with Globebusters, Cujo, or Mike, is a retired F-16 veteran pilot and a terrific guy.
Now, I'm sure he does look familiar. Before Bob Nodell, God rest his soul, good dude. Before he passed and moved on to the ancestors, this guy Cujo, right, the guy up front that you guys see displayed, he had a conversation, and this is the first time that I'd ever seen him speaking with Bob Nodell. And they were talking, and Bob Nodell, if you don't know him, the guy on the top right with the blue shirt and the beard, he used to be an Air Force pilot as well. So there's a kinship right there, and a lot of the terms these guys are jiving with. I don't know exactly what plane Bob Nodell flew. Taboo Conspiracy, maybe you could back me up on that. Maybe you could kind of fill us in. But I don't know what he flew, but I do know that he was a pilot. So I find it absolutely telling that you've got two pilots over there basically jiving and talking about the constitution of this earth, what it is that they got to see. The only difference is that these guys are no longer commissioned, right? And I'm saying commissioned and instead of enlisted because they were obviously officers. And they don't sit the seat. They're outside of whatever it is they could say, and they don't give a damn, right? They're older guys. They're well into their lives, living their lives out. And I think at the time Bob Nodell was living in Hawaii, and he's like, man, whatever, man. I'm just gonna call it like it is. I got plenty. I got long money. I could go where I want when I want. Same thing with Cujo. Guy's living nice. He's living good. So he's like, yo, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. If they don't like it, or if they think I'm full of shit, come see me. Kiss my ass. It is what it is. But you don't have enough people coming out to tell the truth now. Now, when I had a few pilots that knew what I was about. I used to walk around. Matter of fact, hold on. Wait. All right. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Here are some of my patches, right? Some of my patches. Squadron I used to fly for. Not gonna. Some of my dang patches, world watches. Oh, right? Old squadron patches when I went through SEER school. It was amazing. Good times, good times. My old squadron, PQ2, right? This is a patch one of my first trainer gave me. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. He was a good dude. I miss him. I love you, Ian. I miss you. Good dude. And this is like the last patch that I wore. Read it and weep, y'all. This is what I wore on my uniform because I was already long in the tooth. I was done. And I was like, here we folks coming up to me saying, oh, Chief, you don't believe that we landed on the moon, blah, 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 this, that, the third. And I'm like, nope. Let's unplug, play it back. Can you guys see me? Uh-oh. Camera was unplugged. Uh-oh. End stream. Can you guys see me? Let's see. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's see settings. HD. Huh. Let's see. Does this shit fucking work? Whoop. Can y'all see me? Oh, wow. Can you guys hear me? All right. So I don't know if you could hear me, but if you can, I'm going to continue with the show. I'm going to continue with this video, and then I'm going to troubleshoot my camera problems. Let's do it.
When he was an F-16 fighter pilot, Cujo would often fly with a wingman or maybe 3 other F-16s in formation. Each pilot, using his radar system, would then have the responsibility to sweep a key section or block of the sky based on the F-16's position. This was for maximum efficiency. For example, if there were 2 F-16s in formation, one would sweep a lower section of the sky, and the other F-16 would sweep a higher section of the sky. When there were 4 F-16s in formation, the aircraft would sweep an angled section of the sky, like 60 degrees up, 60 degrees down, 60 degrees to the left, or 60 degrees to the right. So, if there were 4 F-16s in formation, an aircraft on the right would maybe have the duty to sweep his radar looking for aircraft at 10,000 feet and above on the right side. That would be his block. Here is the problem for the globe. These F-16s are sweeping their radar out to 80 nautical miles, or 92 statute miles, out while examining a certain section or block of the sky. If the globe were real, at 92 miles, an enemy jet that is actually flying at 10,000 feet would instead appear to be at 4,357 feet from the position of Cujo's F-16. That's because the curvature drop for 92 miles is around 5,643 feet. 92 times 92 times 8 inches divided by 12 equals 5,643 feet.
Now, if you guys look, you see this right here? It doesn't. It looks pretty, right? Looks pretty and it looks super scientific and official, but we all know what the truth is. Let's continue.
Regardless of what direction the opposing aircraft was located, the other jet would necessarily appear 5,643 feet, or 2/3 of a degree lower than its actual altitude if the globe were real. I made this simple diagram to help you understand what we are talking about. Cujo's F-16 is at the top of the alleged globe, and you can see the smaller aircraft to the right that we're going to assume is far away. At a distance of 92 miles, even though it's at the same altitude on the globe,
Oh my
that jet
God.
would appear to be 5,643 feet, or 2/3 of a degree lower than Cujo's jet.
Yep.
Even at 40 nautical miles, which is 46 statute miles, an opposing aircraft would appear about 1,411 feet lower from Cujo's F-16.
Yep.
The distant enemy aircraft would have to always appear lower than its true altitude. No enemy aircraft ever climbed over the globe, causing a change between the F-16 radar observation blocks. This was radar coming from the F-16, not the ground.
Now, I'm sorry to cut that off right there, but you have to understand how these radar sweeps are, right? So that looks like that's in an airborne intercept kind of mode, right? And the I think the radar on the on the F-16 or the F-15 is the APG, the APG 73, APG. He's got those two mixed up, but I do know that they're tail rudders and stuff. The F-16 had one, the F-15 has two, right? But one thing that you know is that sweep right there. You'll see that the radar sweeps. But it has to do it fast. And it does it super fast, and it does it in like a raster mode, right? Boom, a whole block of energy, bunch of energy in a giant block, and it does it That's only done on a plane. Nothing is curving. Nothing is curving for it to achieve that much distance to be capturing any kind of airplane. Let's continue.
Ground, and the radar was always direct line of sight. If the globe were real, every engagement would result in the opposing aircraft appearing to rapidly climb thousands of feet from the perspective of the pilot, even though the opposing aircraft is flying straight and level. Except for those times when an opponent was truly climbing, this never happened. Globe climbing does not exist, and this would have been extremely dangerous for all pilots in the engagement, especially when they're traveling up to a combined 1,800 miles per hour. That is 30 miles a minute between two aircraft. And so in just 3 minutes, the opposing jet would have appeared to have climbed 5,400 feet on a globe. That's insane. As confirmed by Cujo, the F-16's radar system was based on a flat and stationary Earth.
There it is. There it is. It has to be flat for it to function right. Unless if it was curved, they would have put that, they would have a way for the radar to on a curve. They would have made it like that, but they didn't because it's flat and plain. That's it.
Just think about it. How could you lock, track, and acquire multiple enemy aircraft when supposed Earth curvature adjustments and Earth spin would throw the whole matter into disarray? That would be a nightmare for any pilot. But let's get back to our F-15 Wizzo. The first thing Wizzo did was confirm Cujo's statements regarding the impossibility of the radar system on a fighter jet working for a globe, but in this case for the F-15 Eagle. These radar sweeps were direct line of sight. No opposing aircraft ever apparently climbed thousands of feet over a globe in a few minutes. It never happened. But Wizzo had a few more flat Earth proofs to add, but these relate to the Sniper Advanced Targeting Pod on the F-15E Strike Eagle.
Now pay close attention to this. As a matter of fact, guys, if you haven't done so, make sure to like and subscribe as you come in and out of the channel. Also, make sure to sub to Taboo Conspiracy.
About the Sniper Pod here. The Sniper targeting pod was separate from the jet's radar and included a high-resolution infrared camera and HD TV that could target and track objects on the ground and in the air. According to Wikipedia, its image processing allows air crews to detect, identify, and engage tactical-sized targets outside the range of most enemy air defenses, giving it a crucial role in the destruction of enemy air defense missions. The pod incorporates a high-definition, mid-wave FLIR, dual-mode laser, visible light, HD TV, laser spot tracker, laser marker, video data link, and a digital data recorder. Advanced sensors and image processing, incorporating image stabilization, enable targets to be identified at ranges which minimize exposure to defensive enemy systems. Short video clips describing the Sniper targeting pod.
In fact, you can take a look out here. That's a wide. That's what it looks like normally with no magnification. Is how far we're away.
Okay.
There's an arrow.
Yeah. 11 miles roughly. Yeah.
We could zoom.
Huh.
We're 10 miles away. See if I can get a TV of it.
Jeez.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yep,
That is
tail number,
normal TV picture of it.
Yeah.
Rock steady stabilization and enhanced state-of-the-art image clarity permit real-time geolocation, single-pass target identification, multi-targeting, laser spot tracking, and accurate bomb damage assessment.
Boy, that picture is just awesome.
Precise targeting capabilities allow air crews to automatically and identify high-speed targets with exceptional tracking tenacity.
This sniper targeting pod would also provide the angle to the target with respect to the F-15. The distance to the target was provided by the TSD moving map that Wizzle would cue his targeting pod to, and that is where it gets interesting for the flat Earth. First, when Wizzle was stationed in Afghanistan, F-15s would have to spend long periods of time up in the air to be ready for action. One time, on a beautiful, clear, and cold day, and just for the fun of it, Wizzle found K2 on the TSD moving map and placed a mark point on top of it to cue the sniper targeting pod. The jet calculated the distance from the F-15 to the mark point, and it was at a distance of 300 nautical miles, which is 345 statute miles.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Wait. How high was he? Okay, he was at an altitude. Okay, so he could see that thing from 300, damn near 350 miles, 345 miles, and he was at an altitude of 28,000 feet, right? Flying at an and what did I say about 28,000 feet? At that height, you do not fly by wire, right? At 28,000 feet, you're controlling the plane yourself, right? Anything higher than that, then you do the autopilot. But this guy's out here controlling the sticks, flying level, spots that mountain K2 at damn near 350 miles away. Let's continue.
The top of K2 has an elevation of 28,251 feet. Wizzle was also flying at 28,000 feet. Here's a picture showing an example of the clear conditions that he also witnessed. If we lived on a globe, due to the 15,000-foot mountains 193 miles away from Wizzle's F-15, K2 should have been impossible to see from his altitude at 28,000 feet, as shown in these diagrams. I have to thank YouTuber B Flat for confirming this on AutoCAD, and I will have a link to his channel in the description. As confirmed by AutoCAD from Wizzle's F-15 observation point, the top of K2 should have been impossible to see at 11,489 feet below the line of sight from the top of that closer 15,000-foot mountain range. The AutoCAD diagram was made to exact scale. In addition to the fact that K2 should have been impossible to see under the globe, the targeting pod indicated that the top of K2 was at 0 degrees elevation with respect to the F-15. In other words, the targeting pod recognized that K2 was at an equal elevation as the F-15. In fact, K2 should have appeared 2.5 degrees downward if we lived on a globe.
So, I went, and I found K2 on the moving map, and then I dropped a mark point on it. Then I cued the targeting pod to the mark point. The pod cues to it in both azimuth and elevation. The pod cued right to K2, and I can see within the half-a-degree wide field of view, which is like looking through a soda straw at 300 nautical miles. And you could tell that was K2 because you'd seen pictures of K2, and K2 was so much higher than everything else around it. And my pod showed a 0-degree elevation angle to the top of the mountain. A half a degree at 300 nautical miles is close to a 2.5 nautical mile field of view total. And basically looking at the whole peak, zoomed in at 300 nautical miles. But the key is that I am at 28,000 feet. The top of that mountain is at 28,000 feet, and the targeting pod was saying 0 elevation angle, meaning 0 look down and 0 up, just like I was looking at it at 10 nautical miles, but I am at 300 nautical miles, and it is level. It's perfect.
Oh, I get where you're going now. Okay, so you're saying it's at 0 degrees. I thought you were saying 0 altitude, but yeah, so it's at your level. That's odd. That's right there is a freaking glow killer for sure.
Yeah, and you want to know something? watch from 9 minutes to 12 minutes. That 3-minute block of time on that particular video from Taboo Conspiracy says a lot. That right there says a lot. That 3 minutes right there. I mean, how many times do we got to kill the globe, man? We've killed the globes we've killed the globes. We've killed the globes more times than damn Bill Murray got killed in Groundhog's Day. We killed the globe a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't even know where do we go from here other than killing the globe more times. So now you have this Wizzo, and again, shout out to Taboo Conspiracy for not disclosing that information, because like nobody needs to lose their livelihood just for telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for calling it like he sees it. One thing I pray is that other pilots and the like, and navigators, Wizzos, you name them, if you're sitting up in the cockpit of any one of these aircrafts, you come up with your reasons. You know what I'm saying? You keep it quiet, but you come up with your reasons as to why you know this place is flat, level, and plain. Because here's the thing. You have people of the globe come up to us and they're like, we're stupid because there's no such, and this is what you have a lot of these globe folks saying, is that they're like, there is no pilot coming out saying that this earth is true, level, and plain. But they're coming out in droves, right? They're coming out and they're saying the truth in droves. But the thing is, you need to make yourself readily available to receive this kind of information from those kinds of people, right? Because maybe they're tired of seeing the and so they're tired of having to hear about this BS about whether it's flat or plain. Mosquito, y'all. But they're calling it like they see it, and they're like, yeah, it's flat. Anyway, and that's it. That's it. But at the same time, you have their superiors that will pull rank on them and then keep them from getting promoted, right? They'll keep them from, they'll ground. A lot of times these guys could get grounded. Your superiors could turn around and say that you're not fit to fly because you're mentally not capable of flying. You must have a problem. That's all a lot of doctors need to see. Then you'll have to get evaluated, and then you're grounded. You're grounded. You're not flying, and then your superiors will make your name mud, and then you, so on and so forth. I'm sure you guys could surmise the rest, right? But these guys, they don't need to be losing their livelihoods. But I'm sure a lot more people know the truth. I've had pilots come up to me and tell me what it was, right? And then you have people telling me, oh, why don't you say their name? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I am not going to go out and say any of these people's names ever. I'm going to go down the tubes knowing who it is told me what it was. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way in hell I'm going to tell these guys' names. You crazy, right? But they're telling the truth as to what the composition of the earth is, right? And I flew in a slow plane. My plane, it was nothing flashy and pretty and sexy as the F-15 or 16. None of that. Not even as crazy looking as the F-4. You know what I'm saying? I flew in a big, slow, prop-driven, pollution-having, funky on the inside making, no bathroom having airplane. That's what I flew in. You know what I'm saying? That joker was just a flying target. That's what it was. I mean, we had some cool knickknacks on the inside that we used to do what it was that I used that to do what it was that I could do. But I mean, my plane was big, giant, and slow. And we did not exceed 30,000 feet. We did not exceed 30,000 feet to fly. And our pilots always flew. There was always somebody behind the sticks piloting the plane, flying the plane. We had more than enough bodies to fly the plane, but we always had a body in the seat, somebody's butt in there flying this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue with the vid.
But Wizzo's flat Earth proofs didn't end there. The targeting pod was used to view other aircraft that were showing up on the radar system. Under the globe model, at a distance of 80 nautical miles, which is 92 statute miles again, assuming that both Wizzo's altitude, the enemy aircraft would necessarily to the alleged globe curvature drop. Instead, the targeting pod would indicate the enemy aircraft was at the same or 0 degrees as the F-15, and the targeting pod would then track the enemy aircraft. Here's a short clip from our discussion.
We didn't do 80-mile sets. That was just too far. But we did do in excess of 40 often. And, you know, when you get a lock way out there, and when you get a lock, a little TD box, target designator box, comes up in the HUD, so you can see through that box is the guy you're looking at. Yeah, the TD box over on the right hand side right there. So if there was really, if he's 2,000 feet different at 40 miles, he's going to appear to be in your block potentially. So never happen. I mean, you're not out there going, that dude's in my block. No, you know that he's in either. We always did altitude blocks because for deconfliction to the merge, prior to getting visual with everybody, with all the players, you had to have deconfliction. So we called them red air blocks and blue air blocks because somebody's always the good guy and kill each other, right? Ancestors in the F-15 and I used to do this all the time, right? Where and you set the blocks up 0s to 4s and 9s, and he was that. Look at that, he had already written that before I said that, so you can tell there's another legit thing right there. Anyway,
it's the ghost with the most. Judah Tribe, what's happening, bro? It's good to see you, man. Go ahead. It's good to see you, fam. Let's get back to the thing, man. You over there hiding out and shit.
Because that gives us 1,000 foot of altitude separation between all the jets. If we're in our block and they're in their block, then we're not going to hit each other if we never see each other, right? So once you get situational awareness, then you can go down in their block. Well, if I'm red air over here in the 0s to 4s, and these guys are in 5s to 9s, and they're 40 miles away, they're going to appear. They could potentially appear to be in my block when I look through the TV box at them. That doesn't happen. I mean, there's a knock it off call, and the fight resets if you're not in your blocks. That's sacrosanct. Blocks were there to keep us from killing each other for real, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you have a flight lead and a wingman. So number 1 and number 2, you have 2 different pieces of the sky where you look up and down and you slightly overlap, right? So in this case, number 1 is looking up and number 2 is looking down, but you are overlapped right here at a certain range, and that is where you set your radar coverage. If I was the low looker and I knew that there was a guy at 80 nautical miles and above my altitude coverage, for instance, if coverage goes to 1,000 feet above my altitude at 40 nautical miles, I know that my coverage will be 2,000 feet above my altitude at 80. I'd always did the math. It was really easy, but under the globe, it's not supposed to be 2,000 feet above at 80 nautical miles. It should be around 4,000 feet above my altitude. It really should be 1,500 feet higher than what the radar is saying. So, in this situation, I am at 27,000 feet. I put my coverage to look 28,000 feet and down at 40 nautical miles. The top of the coverage was 29,000 feet at 80 nautical miles. If there was a guy at 30,000 feet at 80 nautical miles, I knew that I had to look above my coverage to find him. But guess what? On the globe, if I set my coverage at 28,000 feet and down at 40 nautical miles, the top of the coverage should be, but it never did. Those radar coverages are all
beams don't do this. Radar beams go straight. Totally makes a difference on when you're going to turn and drag out of the fight or press.
Just like the radar sweeps that Cujo talked about, the targeting pod never showed incoming aircraft climbing over a globe. If the enemy aircraft was higher than the F-15, the elevation angle in the pod would increase as they flew closer. If an enemy aircraft was lower, the angle would continually decrease. Never once would an enemy aircraft go from looking down at it with the targeting pod to looking up at it, unless it was actually climbing. Remember, at 80 nautical miles or 92 statute miles, that's a difference of 5,643 feet. This would be very dangerous for pilots, as not to run into incoming aircraft, and it was also vital information for engaging or evading enemy aircraft. Of course, the globe propagandists would potentially claim that refraction caused the opposing jet to hop over the curvature and appear at 0 degrees elevation. But the claim would be impossible because the targeting pod would follow the incoming aircraft at 92 miles away in both IR and TV modes without any altitude adjustment. In fact, if there was a difference between the targeting pod and the radar cube, or differences between the TV and infrared picture, they had to specifically report those differences. Finally, Whistler would also use the air-to-ground raw return radar to find embedded thunderstorms up to 92 miles away by placing the very bottom of the radar beam on their horizontal altitude. If, for example, they were flying at 24,000 feet, he would look for only the storms that reached above 24,000 feet. Whizzle would plan the course of the pilot to fly above, below, or to the side of these storms. A curvature drop of 5,643 feet would have dropped the thunderstorm below the radar coverage. This would have been huge for planning routes and avoiding these storms. Distant storms never climbed over an alleged curvature. Here is Wizzo describing the matter.
The tops of your storms would show up like this. This is from the stadium view looking at the side. You know we are flying this way. This is from the top down, blimp footage here, and then you would go and you mark these storms. I would set the bottom of the radar coverage on my altitude and look from there and up. I would mark all the storms I would see popping into our altitude. Would find the storms, mark a storm here, and mark a storm there, and I would mark them all. And then owner situational display, and on our TSD, these mark points would show up on our routes so we could avoid them. Does that make sense? But I knew that at 60 nautical miles, if I marked that storm cell, it was at or above my altitude. But if I were on a globe, I could be missing storms out at range, because it could be over 3,000 feet below my coverage at 60 nautical miles. Those storms would have never shown up on my radar until we got closer to them. And if the storms popped up closer, we might not be able to avoid them.
We used to do the same thing, only we didn't have all your situational display and all that stuff, but you could roll up and see, what like embedded thunderstorms where you couldn't, okay, there's one above me right there. But I never even thought about it in that way. Just the same thing though, you put your cursors, if you're at 24,000 feet and you put your bottom altitude on the cursor about the radar coverage, you put that on 24,000 feet and run it all the way out the scope, it's going to stay on 24,000 feet. The radar ain't doing that. It ain't doing that. It's staying flat out there. So at 80 miles, I don't know what the number is, but there's a hell of a lot of space underneath 24,000 feet.
In conclusion, think of the complexity of a computer system that would have to calculate for the alleged curvature of the Earth and the alleged spin of the Earth.
That right there. Think of the complexity. Just think. That's all you got to do. Just think about all the calculations that computer consistently needs to do. And here's the thing. The onboard computer, I'm sure it gets software upgrades and everything else like that and this and that. But the airframe of the F-15 and F-16, I believe these were made in like the 70s. These are old planes. And I'm not saying just because they're old, they can't withstand all the G's and everything. But the maneuvers, traveling at these ridiculous speeds, and all the stuff that you have to do, and how they have to make the airframe in order to withstand all that force. Come on, man. Might as well be made out of vibranium in that case. But I don't even know if the human body would be able to take all those G's all that time. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
While aircraft are intercepting at, say, 900 miles per hour. That's a combined speed of 1,800 miles per hour. Every angle, every direction, every maneuver, every bank, whether the jets are flying with the Earth's rotation or against it, everything would require immediate radar and camera adjustments. And that's just simply impossible. Furthermore, these computers would go down, and the pilots would have to know how to make these adjustments without the help of an alleged master supercomputer.
Yes.
In short, both the radar systems and the targeting pod can only work on a flat Earth. There is.
And then, what did I say before? You guys have to remember, at 28,000 feet, these guys are not going on autopilot. They are straight flying that plane with the sticks. These guys have to continually adjust. They have to consistently adjust. And then they have to match whatever the damn rotation of this Earth. Nah, man, ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'm sorry, it ain't happening.
No other conclusion. I hope this video was understandable because these proofs end the globe to any reasonable thinking and objective person.
Yes, it does.
We further challenge all Wizzos and fighter pilots to confirm the claims in this video because the arguments are true. If you are a genuine truth seeker and would like to share your experiences, please send me an email at tabooconspiracy@proton.confidential. Thanks for watching.
That's right there is a freaking globe killer for sure.
Yep. There it is. Boom. There it is. Boom. There it is. Y'all see it. You guys see it. The proof is in the pudding. It's right there. Another globe killer. One of the more important globe killers because look at who the folks is that's involved, right? You got guys that fly these machines, and it's not easy being it is not easy being one of these fighter pilots. Let me tell you, some of the smartest people that you'll find in the military in the world, right, are pilots, right? Especially the faster the plane is, the more crafty and the smarter these guys tend to be, right? I was around some smart pilots too, but they didn't fly the planes that these guys flew. The military, I don't know how it is they come about, how they pick the guys, but from what these pilots told me, after they finish flight school, based on like how they did in particular parts of school and stuff, that's when they're assigned their platform. That's what they told me, and that's pretty much how I saw it. That's when they were assigned. I kind of feel bad for the brothers that got the dirigibles. You know what I'm saying? Who had to fly the Navy's Goodyear blimp? Be like, Fred, yeah, you ain't getting helicopters neither, bro. Nah, you getting blimps, bro. We giving you the hot air balloons, and not the blimp like the Zeppelin. Nah, you getting that joint that we got to put the fire underneath that bitch. You flying straight up, and that's what you getting, man. We giving you a blimp. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to give you no Zeppelin or none of that craziness. Ghost, what's going on, cuz?
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's good, yo?
Man, I finally got the nerve to get up on this thing, man. You be getting into some real deep stuff on here, man. But I think this one I can flow with a little bit, man. You know, because I was in the Navy or anything, but I do know like don't those pilots always fly at the same altitude for hours?
Yeah.
Straight across without.
Until they have to basically, I guess, like ask for permission to go in a different, you know what I'm saying? Go in a different block or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They never dip their nose or anything like that, man. It's just there's no curvature. I don't know why they keep trying to convince us that there's some kind of curvature or something. I don't know what they deal is, man.
Ghost, man, it's like these is just they're cursed, but it's a ego. To me, I'm like, man, their ego is just
hey.
They're mad stiff neck, these dudes.
Hey, I think with the guests on here, it kind of stiffens up your your stream a little bit. So
Um,
I ain't gonna be here for too much longer because I'm gonna
it's,
let you talk. But yeah, definitely. It's definitely flat. I can't wait. I say, hey Shannon, how you doing? I saw a thing the other day that the government knows that these beings, the Anunnaki, are kind of the what they call these Sumerian gods is what they said are coming back. You know, I saw a thing about. I'm gonna do a video about that too, man. But yeah, this place is stationary. It's flat. There's no spinning. There's no this ridiculous formulas that they come up with, and like most of the formulas and I'm going to do a video probably. I'll talk about that probably Friday. You know, I see that you do your True Earth Tuesday, but I'm going to talk about the formulas and the numbers, the numerology that they use to come up with all these stupid ass formulas and everything, because it's their world, it's their stage, and they want you to believe a certain way. I'm glad pilots like this are coming out. And you know, we tried to let the astronauts come out, but you see what happened there. You know, you try to come out against them, you get punched in the face, and
need
and
in
you
the
get
behind
molested.
and everything.
Yeah. So I think most of these people know what it is. I think if we was in some secret organization or something like that, we probably would know a little more. If you get past the 33rd degree of masonry, you probably would know that too. So, Ida, people without knowledge are easier to control. That's why they do this. That's right, Ida Hill. That's why.
Right.
That's why I come to channel. That's why you come to channels like Vladimir. That's why you come to channels like these guys. Like most flat earthers. Flat earthers think outside the box. We think differently, because Ida Hill, Shannon, Vladimir, we all learned the same thing in high school, or whether you went to a higher education, not a higher learner or not, we all learned the same thing in high school and everything. And so we all know this shit, but now we know something different than what they do. So, you know, it's up to them. The burden of proof is on them, Ida. You know, they can say, "Oh yeah, look, Mars is a circle." Yeah, we can observe Mars, right? We can observe it. We just want you to observe the Earth, because you're supposedly on the moon, right? You got rovers and shit on the moon. We just want one simple picture of the Earth from the moon. You can't
That's it.
even get us one picture of the Earth from the moon. You know,
Yep.
we want it real simple. You can give us all this stuff about quasars and nebula and all this stuff, but you can't give me one simple picture of the Earth from the moon. Like,
Yep.
nah, man. So you
Dog,
like,
we we got all this junk. We got all this junk, all this mess, all this nonsense up in space. And then they're
mm-hmm,
like, yo, we got these asteroids with like the size of 99 Ghostbusters. And I'm like,
yeah,
what the hell are you talking about? We got an
yeah,
asteroid the size of 42 school buses. What? What?
yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, we got
yeah.
a we got an asteroid the size of, 81 Puff Daddies and Big Daddy Canes. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, they come up
And-
with the most bizarre fucking things, and it's like, yo, we got all these sensors. They claim they have like 9,500 sensors out in space
wow. Wow.
right now.
Mm. It's very sad, man. Very, very sad. You know, it's sad. And it's sad that,
Yeah.
that but you know what? I like the struggle. I like the challenge that they present to us flat earthers, of us having to chip away to find the truth. And it's just certain things, Ida Hill and Shannon, that you just, and we talk about it all the time. The cosmos, just what you see with your eyes. If we're
Hmm.
traveling at these distances every day and we're still seeing the same constellations, we're still seeing the same stars, we still see, and we're traveling at over a half a billion miles per hour chasing the sun, and you still see the same stuff every year, every decade, every century. No, I don't think we're moving. Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think we're moving at all. I think we're just I think we're here, you know. So if some
Yep.
planet, or if there was so-called life out there and they wanted to have the coordinates to come to us, then they're not going to get it because we're moving, right?
Hmm.
We're supposedly moving. So if they know how to get there before, yeah, not Puff, yeah, Puff too. Yeah. So if they
Hmm.
if they knew how to get here before, they would have the same coordinates of how to get here. They would have the same coordinates where the pyramids are and everything. It'll be the same coordinates in the universe how to get here. It's not going to change, because if you're moving at these crazy miles per hour, the coordinates have now changed. But no,
Forever.
it hasn't
They've
changed.
changed. They've
Forever.
changed forever, and they ain't never coming
Yeah.
back to the old coordinates. That's what
Yep.
people like. And thank you. That's actually a really good point. I never even considered that. Never even considered that. That's a very good point. Because if
Yep.
these things is coming from these, zeta reticuli, zeta meta, whatever, the banana, and then they come here
Yeah.
and the earth is corkscrewing in a spiral pattern away from
Yeah.
everything consistently,
Right.
then they're like, oh man, like, how are we ever going to find this place? This place is gone
Right.
forever. It's never coming back.
Yeah. And the way it's set up, Vladimir, is like the whole system. I don't know if it's the whole galaxy, but the whole system is moving. The whole so-called solar system is moving. So that means the sun too. Even in the heliocentric model, the sun has to be moving. So everything is moving.
Yep.
Everything is moving. So if we get to another galaxy or go to another galaxy, I guess the galaxy is also this shit is just stupid, man. It's just flat out dumb. All you gotta do is just realize and take a look, like, okay, everything is still in place, nothing is changing, you know and the stars can't be part of the of our system. The stars can't be part of it. So you would say, oh, that means the stars are moving too. No, the stars aren't moving, so we should be moving away from the stars, right? See the same fucking stars all the time, man, all the
Yep.
damn time. So these pilots are right. A lot of them are coming out. They were trained a certain way, but deep down inside, they realize the truth. And like you said, Vladimir, pilots are some of the smartest people. They're really smart people, but sometimes you just have to give up your book sense and just go with the flow of your common sense on certain
And
things.
that's the
Yep.
that's the hard part, man. It's the common sense, it's the book sense tied in with the ego, and then they
Yep.
just can't let go. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? They just can't be like, all right, you know what? Let me give it another honest look, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll come up with a choice. But then what's crazy, Ghost, is when you're like, it's true, level, and plain. They're like
Mm-hmm.
it, and then when they say it doesn't make sense, I'm like, what doesn't make sense about it being like this? They're like, but it's supposed to be a ball. And it's like, no, it's really not. Like, that's what doesn't make, like, when you come to your senses and you come to the truth, that's
Mm-hmm.
what doesn't make sense. And say,
Yep.
all right, go say it was a ball. Say it was a ball. It still
Sure.
don't truly make sense. It don't, because nothing else in this world functions that way. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless it's the ball is a ball magnet, a ball made out of magnet shit like magnetite, and then shit
Sure.
is just sticking to it. Then
Mm-hmm.
that I could understand.
Yeah.
But nothing in this world, not this flat thing,
Mm-hmm.
not this flat thing, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not this
Yeah.
flat thing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing functions like that. Where it's
Yep.
just sticking to it, unless it's got an adhesive or something. So
Mm-hmm.
people come out, and this is how effective, like, people don't realize, but this is just how effective the brainwashing is. When they come out and they can't believe the truth when you present it to them, and they say it doesn't make sense. There's gravity. The gravity makes it to where, and they're talking about things that they now have no idea about. And that's something that I was discussing earlier, Ghost, where
Mm-hmm.
Level Earth Observer was discussing basically how we basically painting ourselves into a corner with this whole um ice, going to the outer ring, right? Going to Antarctica and the 24-hour sun. And he brings up a good valid point, right? Level Earth
Mm-hmm.
Observer says it plain, where he's like, okay, And then he says, what if this place does have a 24-hour sun that we can observe in the South Pole? Then what, right? Then basically at that point, he's saying that the flat, by saying that the earth is flat and the earth has an ice ring and then the firmament and this and that, by making these claims that we can't truly nail down, we're basically I myself personally have not been to Antarctica, right? I haven't been to Antarctica. Well, I haven't been to Antarctica. I haven't been on the ice shelf. I haven't been on the ice shelf. I haven't the firmament myself. I haven't done these things myself. Now, I have seen ships at a distance with a periscope. I have seen ships at a distance with big eyes, right? Big eyes being the big giant binoculars on a surface ship. I've seen it. I've seen it. I have seen planes at a distance through, being on the P3 that I used to fly on, right? I used to see that. Because I used to have to be an observer on the airplane from time to time during training. And then during my mission, from time to time, I'd get out, look, see, and then we had craft that were out there. Not going to say which craft, not going to say where I was, but we had craft out there that I got to see for myself, and I got to see how they would maneuver when they came closer to us. And we would see them at these ridiculous distances. And, it's like, so I got to experience that. So, yes, I can educated. And even if not so educated, I could speak on it. Kind of like with my jacked up English right now, I could say, yes, I was there. I did that. I saw that. That's not supposed to be the case if this realm were as they say it is. Right. And so I can speak on that because I've actually done it. The only problem is when we get into these realms where it's like we hadn't, not necessarily, even if some of us didn't do a lot of these things, at least you could take our testimony and say, well, he's done it. He's did it. He's been there. He saw it, to where I can say, yes, I've done it. I've done this and I've done that. And I used to think like the globe people, like I used to think like you. But the fact of the matter is that it's all on one level plane. Cool. Now, when we start talking about things like the ice wall and this and that, now we're running into we're basically using, like, it's kind of like using possible money, right? You got $10 in your pocket. You know for sure you got $10 in your pocket. And then somebody's telling you there's $20 over there sitting right there waiting for you. And now you're saying, all right, I got $30 in my pocket. No, you don't. You still have $10 in your pocket. You still have a guaranteed $10 in your pocket. Whatever the fuck that person over there is saying, they could be bullshitting you right now. They could be absolutely lying to you about that $20 somewhere out there. They could be making that up. So you do not have a pocket, but you do have the truth that is the $10 in your pocket. The truth is there's no movement, because if we had movement, certain conditions would be met. The truth is there is no curvature based off of a 25,000 mile circumference Earth, because certain measures, certain conditions would be met. And this is where a lot of us live, right? We live in that, I guess you could say, so to speak, a bubble, pun intended, whatever, right? That's the bubble we live in. Based off of the numbers we're given, the other shit that they say is not possible. And for the most part, I think that's where all that other stuff, ice wall, lands outside the ice wall, like that is well beyond our purview, and that's like hands off. It's good to speculate, but hands off. I know that it's not curving because I know that it's not moving because, and then it's like, yo, prove that. Prove to us that. And if you can't do that, then your globe ain't working. And
Yep.
it's not a matter, and then it shouldn't be a matter of it's flat, right? Because then they're going to start trimming hairs saying you got mountains here, you got valleys there. And it's like, you know what? Okay, it's not flat, but it's not a globe. And it's not a globe moving and spinning and falling and a moon chasing it and everything else like that. All those
Right.
other things that you're saying is absolute bullshit out the window. It don't work like that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So that's where
Absolutely, bro.
and that's where I think we need to live. I don't know if you know this, but they have a group called Architects and Engineer. I'm sure you've heard of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.
Okay.
I'm sure you heard of them. Now they have Architects and Engineer for Flat Earth.
Hey, let me look them up. Let me look them up. Yeah. Yeah, because architects and engineers never, when they make stuff, they don't take into account any kind of curvature. So that would make sense. That would make sense for them to, to magnetize toward this way. Are you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. So I'm just looking them up, man. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's a Facebook group.
See?
It's a Facebook group. Yeah. Let me go ahead and how do I followers? How do I follow this?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna follow as well. But yeah, Architects and Engineers for Flat Earth Truth. And
Yep.
these are the types of people, because I mean, you could have a bunch of crazies like me jump on, right? I don't have a degree or anything like that. But when
Sure.
you have people like me, doesn't matter what I did. I sound crazy. I look crazy. Look at me with my Cocaine Man shirt. You know what I'm saying? I look like I'm straight out the boat in Miami right here. You know what I'm saying? Hat looking just wild right now. But if you have more of those folks that those other folks sit there and rely on, right, on a day-to-day basis for their damn daily bread when it comes for knowledge and education, and those people are telling you the truth, now it's recommended that you start to listen. If you're of the globe, now you need to start paying heed to what the people that you originally listened to, now start listening to what they're saying.
Yeah, we get those kind of people. We get those kind of people in it, man. Then we have something cooking, man. Because as far as us, because they definitely would have more resources.
Yes,
they definitely would have more backing to what they say. They would definitely would have more people tuning into it, because this is the kind of things that they deal with. So that would be awesome if David Weiss could go into some engineer or architectural place and ask them some questions and have a discussion with these kind of people. I think that'll be very informative. Go on Joe Rogan or something like that. Be very informative. To have people like this, being proponents for the flat Earth.
Yep. Joe Rogan, I don't know about Joe Rogan, man, because after
I think he's I think he's off the flat Earth bus, right? Because he did that thing with Eddie Bravo, I think.
Yep.
I think he's kind of off the flat Earth bus, but yeah, but a lot of I saw some UFC fighters that are actually flat earthers now. So a lot more athletes are kind of. Yep, a lot of athletes are scared to kind of voice their opinion about it, but I think a lot of them realize what it is. A lot of them do realize that. Me and you, we just have the balls to come out and say it. And it's whatever consequence we have. It's Yep, we're just they're millionaires, but we know who controls them. Something simple. They're millionaire. They could be hushed up real fast, just like they did Kyrie. They hushed him up real quick. You're a millionaire, but hey, we'll still can hush your ass up, right?
Yep. And then we'll ridicule you. To me, I'm like, whatever, man. I'm used to the ridicule. I'm like, okay. My thing is, we're just at the party early. I keep saying that. I'm like, y'all keep talking this shit like everything else you motherfuckers are wrong about everything. And so I think people, a lot of times folks are just short-sighted, right? and I'm not, it's not me to brag. It's almost like it's easy. Like their playbook is easy. Do I know what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm not saying that I know what's going to happen tomorrow, but based off of trends, right? Based off of trends and what they've done in the past, you can have a good idea of how they're going to set things up in the future, right? It's like their playbook is so cliche and it's easy. Like when it comes time to start a war, we see how the recipe that they use. It's like somebody
yeah.
baking cookies. They use the
Yeah.
same recipe every time to get chocolate chip cookies. You use these recipes and you add chocolates, you're not going to get peanut butter cookies. You're getting chocolate cookies. You're getting
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookies because you know the ingredients that go with these. Same thing when it comes to this
Whack,
government and how it functions. And yes, wagging the
wag
dog.
the dog. Yep.
Yep. And how they
They do it.
function. These guys run the same trick, the same play. And things like, and when they buy things like Amazon and they buy things, or they bring Jeff Bezos under their wing and they're like, hey, we need you to do this. Amazon controls commerce and books and electronics.
Yep.
SpaceX, Elon Musk controls tech, and this one and that one,
Yep.
along with IBM and Apple, right? They control tech. Some other guy controls something else. So what's his name? The weird looking dude that does Facebook. He controls Zuckerberg. He controls like cyber along with a couple of other dudes. So these dudes, I'm not saying and limiting it to just 2, 3, 4 guys, right? But these dudes are like the heavy hitters of those industries that they're being brought in by the government. And the government is telling them, we need you to run this play. And people could see it from miles away. You could see it from miles away. So they're bringing these dudes in, and they're the overarching umbrellas of these major industries, limiting our to a lot of this good knowledge.
Yeah, they're like the czars of
Yes.
their field. Like when Obama was in office, he had what he calls czars for
Yeah.
each cabinet. Each cabinet was so
Yes.
these are like the czars of these certain sects of information or whatever, or group, whatever you had.
Yes. And now BlackRock is I think BlackRock might be real estate, or maybe Berkshire Hathaway might be
Yep.
in charge of real estate.
Yep.
But all
Makes
these
sense.
dudes they have a portion of what drives, I guess you could say, what pushes the flow and the currency of money, right? How it pushes the money in this one and that one. And so I'd say a very important aspect to it is something that I'd mentioned a few shows on Flat Earth Friday, is the education part of it, right? Because back in the day, I don't know if I'm sure you probably remember, but Amazon, when they first started out, they were books, and they were just books and textbooks. And then you had things like Overstock.com. That was also textbooks. I remember I used to shop at these guys because I wanted cheaper books, right? Instead of paying top dollar. So I'd go to Overstock.com and I'd go to Amazon, right? For the cheap books. Amazon has blown up to what they now do basically everything. Now they're selling fucking high. But Amazon still sells books. So if you want a book and you want a book bad enough and you don't want a digital copy, you still go to Amazon. The problem with Amazon now is they've monopolized these books, so much so that if you wanted a book, let's say like Bad Blood, right? One of my favorite books, it basically talks about the Tuskegee experiments and stuff like that. Now the book is top dollar. So yeah, is the book still available? Absolutely. But you're going to pay out the ass for it. I bought a book from Steve Quayle. It's called Giants. Don't have it with me. My boy has it at his house. He needs to give it back. Man, you need to give me my book back, bro. You're probably watching, and if you are, you need to give me my book back. So he has the book. It's called Giants. It's this huge book, great book, thick ass book, right? I bought it. It was $8. I bought it in 2013. You know how much the book is now?
How much did you buy for back then?
Like $8.
Oh, probably like what, 55,
It's like
300?
100. It's like $150.
Oof! Wow!
$150 for that book, right? Steve
Wow!
Quayle. It's called Giants. It talks about all the giants throughout history, all these different giants I've never even heard of, and it's got a bunch of pictures too. It's an amazing book.
Hmm.
So I'm saying all that to say this: that even back then, and I have a couple of books in my shelf right now that these things are like top dollar, and and these are books that I'd purchased for like pennies. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
got them at garage sales, but now on Amazon they're top dollar. And I'm looking
Sweet.
at the content. I'm looking at the content. It's not like your typical run of the mill story. These guys are hiding information. And so now they're
Mm.
becoming basically like what you said. They're becoming the czars of this, the czars of that, and they're
Yep.
limiting the amount of information that you get.
Yep. Yep. That is micromanaging things. Okay, it put you here, put you there, put you there. All right, you manage this, you manage that. It's just micromanaging for the elitists. Okay, you guys are in charge of this and that. So you're right. So excellent. I think Shannon Emerson had a whole lot to say, man, here on this side. She had like about three or four things. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I gotta get up in the morning, brother.
They are
But
definitely.
you,
Oh, before you roll up out of here because you came late, motherfucker. But
I did go like,
yeah, they're definitely messing with God's confuse us. Yes, yes, I believe so. And God's gigantic clock sending things like all these little balloons in orbit and messing with God's great clock. That's
Mhm.
pretty much what they're doing. That is a blaspheme all in itself. That stuff way beyond my pay grade that I'm still trying to figure that out, Shannon.
Mhm.
Joe Rogan jumped back into we landed on the moon for 200 million Spotify money. Exactly. He sold out. Joe Rogan sold out, but he don't give a fuck what everybody else think. Best thing about being a conspiracy theorist is not having myocarditis.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the
gotta
truth.
gotta have a gotta have a strong heart, Shannon. That's right. You gotta have balls. Gotta have kahunas, Shannon.
Yep,
That is absolutely
that
correct.
is the truth.
Gotta have balls, Shannon.
Yep.
Nice work. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good background.
Appreciate it, Nano. Okay, Glover
Globus take
says I was training.
observation training course blind. Yes, school for the blind, school for the stupid. Unfortunately, globe running out of gas. The globe.
Easy.
How? Oh well. Where do you want to start? So we give you your own math. Your own math. We give to you guys your own math, and then we demonstrate how your math doesn't work on what you claim is a curved Earth, and we show you that it doesn't work. It's not working
Yep.
at all. And
Yep.
then it pisses you guys off by you coming out and saying that we're lying. And I'm wondering, how is it that we're lying when we're presenting you your numbers? These are your numbers, not our numbers. And then we say 8 inches per mile squared, giving you guys the benefit of the doubt. And when I say you guys, Raptor Captain, I'm assuming that you're of the flat Earth. It's an assumption. I could be wrong, whatever. But we're giving you the benefit of the doubt. We're giving you that extra measurement. When in fact, it turns out that none of this stuff occurs. There is
Yep.
no movement, right? Michelson-Morley experiment, and then another Air Force experiment that took place almost 99 years later. 99 years later in 1986, 1987, that same experiment occurred. And the Air Force could detect no movement in the Earth, right? So Michelson-Morley, you have all these engineers coming out saying we don't account for curvature. And this is all before GPS has come out, right? Because everybody now wants to talk about the magic of GPS and how it detects curvature. Nobody detected curvature, not one engineer. And we have things like the pyramids, the Taj Mahal, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Even though it's leaning, it's still there. You know what I'm saying? It still manages to be up.
Yeah.
You still have all these things all over the planet, all over the world. You have all these things. And nobody accounted not one time for curvature, not one engineer. These marvels of modern and ancient science are still here. and nobody's
How,
accounted for curvature.
how many scientists do you have on your side, Vladimir? Flat earthers? How many
Yeah,
scientists do you have? We don't need no fucking scientists,
we
bro.
don't need
We,
scientists.
we
No,
don't need
you
your
can.
science. We don't need your
Yeah,
pseudo bullshit, bro. We
and
don't need it because they're all part of they're all part of that shit too.
yeah, we don't. And what you got to understand is a lot of these scientists, how do you think they make their money? You think they're just independent researchers? No. These guys work for institutions. They work for universities. They contract to a particular company. And
Yep.
whatever they're finding is if it doesn't match up with what the agenda is, they
Uh-huh.
better keep it to themselves or they better
They
stow it away for a later day.
they want a paycheck. So
Yes.
just think about it, Raptor. If when we prove to be right, it's gonna all the textbooks, everything that they're saying is going out the door. They're gonna prove to be liars. All the government contracts that they had, everything that they had is gone. It's gone. So why would they go against something that's feeding them? Why would they go against the hand that's feeding them? They're not going to do it. They're not going to go
Exactly.
against the hand. We don't need the fucking scientists, Raptor or Captain. Okay, we don't need the fucking scientists. We don't need them because the hand that's feeding them is going to continue to pit them against us. So we don't need that shit.
Yeah. And Raptor Captain, you have to understand, man.
Well, we
Did
tried
you
every
ask
day.
this question? Yeah, did you ask this question like 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Do you remember what happened? This is the same bullshit. I want you guys to look at what Raptor Captain. Look at Raptor Captain right there. Look at this
Raptor
bullshit right here.
Captain.
Yeah. Oh, what
That
about the
dinosaur banged
scientists?
my butt so hard.
Yeah, what about the scientists? Listen, you can't trust these motherfuckers. You really can't trust these people. These people are evil. If they were so fucking good, they would have found that bullshit that we had to deal with for the last 5 years, and they would have called it out as bullshit a long time ago. But
Yeah.
but you want to know something? They couldn't do it because they fucking lack integrity. And
Raptor
that's the
Captain.
problem. Nobody gets fucking mad enough like at motherfuckers like you that defend bullshit like that. Nobody does. And
That's the
that shit
Raptor
pisses me
Captain.
off.
He's the
That shit
Raptor
pisses me
Captain.
off. Motherfuckers like you got half the fucking world dead from this goddamn nonsense, whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, here we
Because they
go.
want to be
Here we
stupid
go.
enough. They want to be stupid enough and inject themselves with some nonsense. They don't know what the fuck it is, but they listen to dumb motherfuckers like you. Shit pisses me off, man.
Hey, Vladimir, just asking.
Oh,
Walk me
the
through the
scientists,
scenario
the
where
scientists,
the
the scientists.
Walk
Fuck
me
out
where
of here,
Flat
man.
Earth takes over and all the world governments, scientists, satellite companies, and space agencies give up. Come on, walk me through that, Vladimir. I love the
Yeah,
globe, and you're not gonna
piss me
put
off,
that flat
man.
shit up me.
Piss me off. Piss me off. And you want to know something? There are people that think just like you. Good people. Good people lost their fucking jobs because of motherfuckers like you. Bunch of
Yep.
good people lost their shit, lost their jobs, lost their livelihoods, lost their
Yep.
spouses because of motherfuckers like you thinking just like that. And you want to
Yeah.
know something? There are people that think just like us. But then they're like, you know what? I got to feed my family because there's so
That's-
many idiots like you that think just like that.
That's it, Mr. Jones.
There's so many people like you that think just like that. And then we're barely outside of that shit, right? It's not like this happened 17, 20,
Raptor
50 years ago.
Captain.
No, it happened 4 fucking years ago, dude. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But people like you, yeah, that tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
People like you got a short fucking memory, man. You have a very short memory. Asking a fucking question like that. What scientists do you have?
Captain.
Are you serious?
Raptor
What
Captain,
scientists do you have?
keep on bending over for old Bill Nye and get on your knees for Tyson, whatever his name is, Tyson, whatever. Keep on doing your little homo stuff with them, Raptor Captain. You're such a wuss, bro. You're such a wuss. All right.
You're gonna believe everything these motherfuckers say. You're gonna believe everything these motherfuckers say, and they're gonna steady keep lying to you.
But
How
they
many
sound
scientists
so
do you have on your
intelligent.
side?
They sound so intelligent, Vladimir.
They are not all of them, because I'm not
No,
gonna lump all of them.
this is what Raptor Captain said. This is what Raptor Captain said.
But What scientist you got on your side? Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. Fuck out of here. Excuse me, guys. I apologize for cussing and getting upset, but listen, I don't think enough of us are mad. I don't think enough of us are upset. I don't think enough of us has fucking said what the fuck we feel and acted on it, because these motherfuckers are out there thinking just like that. There are enough people that think like that have us in the condition that we're in today.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put your mask on? You're going to get us sick. What?
Yeah,
why didn't you take the shot? Why didn't you take the shot? You're going to make everybody sick because you didn't take the shot. Meanwhile, AstraZeneca, this one, that one, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, you name it. All these idiots are coming out and saying, well, we didn't know. Oh, well, what do you mean you didn't know? You had people telling you they don't trust your fucking shot. You mean to tell me these people are stupid and you didn't know? You didn't know to not give them that monkey pus that you have in these goddamn syringes? You didn't know not to give that to them? But you're going to go ahead and you're going to give it to them anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people in the goddamn armed forces that so many of you motherfuckers claim that you have their back? You know how many people got fucking released from the goddamn military? A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of people lost their fucking livelihoods. A lot of people lost that paycheck. A lot of people lost that opportunity because they refused to put that nonsense in their body. And motherfuckers just like you, Raptor Captain, motherfuckers just like you, what you have to say? What you didn't take the shot, but what you saying? What you saying equates, Raptor Captain. What you saying equates to just that. What about the scientists? So we need to listen to those motherfuckers because
exactly.
They have our best
exactly. But according to Raptor Captain, yes, you did. Yes, you did, Raptor Captain. You already said we should listen to the scientists. We don't have the scientists on our side. So I believe in the scientists and what they say. You know why, Raptor Captain? That's why you took the shot, because you believe in the scientists.
You believe that bullshit.
And you believe that Trump.
And whether you took it or not, that's thank you.
6 months of research.
And whether you took it or not, that's neither here nor there. It's that train of thought. It's that there that you don't think outside the goddamn box.
You're not listening.
You know why
You're
I'm
not
raging?
listening.
You know why I'm raging? Raptor Captain, do you know why I'm raging? Do you think it's about the shot that I'm raging? Do you think it's about the shot? No, there's principle behind what it is that you said. It's the principle behind what you said. What scientists do I have? Do we really need scientists to tell us that jet fuel doesn't burn fucking steel? That's why you have a separate panel on the outside to tell you that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you need scientists to tell you? Yeah, listen to the fucking scientists. Every time we listen to the scientists, we get fucked in the end.
Raptor Captain is so good, but Raptor Captain loves to get fucked in the end because he's gay like that. So look, you you say you didn't want me to leave, but I gotta get ready to go to bed, bro. So what do you need,
man.
brother?
My bad. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
Don't let this Raptor Captain. You come on again next week, okay? You come on again next week.
Raptor Captain, man, you caught me at you said those are trigger words. Those are trigger words. I get very guys, I apologize for that because I get very passionate. I get very passionate behind those things because we suffered because of people not doing their due fucking diligence. People being cowards and people not doing enough fucking research. Everybody
Raptor Captain. Yeah, Raptor Captain. Raptor Captain. You ain't no captain, dude. You're a douche. See you, Jimmy Satterfield. Bye, Ida Hill. Bye,
Jimmy
Shannon
Satterfield,
Emerson.
brother. Jimmy Satterfield, you be safe, brother. Guys,
Nano CBD.
Guys, I get very passionate. It's hey.
That was a good way to end. That became fire at the end, man. That was good. Raptor Captain, you bring your ass on here next week. We want to talk some more to you, Raptor Captain.
Guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Fart smeller.
Make sure you like, share, sub. I get very passionate behind these things.
Raptor Captain puts his face in Neil Tyson DeGrassi's butt. because he likes everything about science and everything. That's what you are. That's right. CBT Globetar sexuals.
Oh.
Fuck Raptor Captain. Bring your ass on here next week, Raptor Captain. You little punk ass. Love you, brother. I'm going to
Love you,
bed.
man. Oh man, go to bed, brother. I love you too, man. My bad, bro.
See ya.
Damn, it's like 2 a.m. over here, man. 1 a.m. and shit.
Yeah,
I'm over here
yeah.
yelling. It's a good thing I live in the woods, man. It's a good thing I live in the wilderness and I can wild out like this and I ain't got no neighbors not giving a fuck. Except for the deer and
Goodbye,
the animals.
Vladimir.
Family, peace. Ghost to Judah tribe, everybody. Good man. He's a good man. And I had to cut him. Yeah, he rolled out. But guys, you're not going to see me do that often. I hold what we just went through near and dear to my heart. And I think we should all be mad and we should all demand answers. You guys, family, with that, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Please make sure to like and that list I'm going to put in the comment section, that whole list of channels, because I really want you guys to go ahead and take a look and give these guys sub to their channels and show them some love. Mwah. Thank you for being here tonight. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been fantastic. Be sure to join me and link up with me for True Word Tuesday next week. All right. All of y'all, everybody, you guys were great. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Make sure you have a good night. And please don't be late to work tomorrow or hungover. Wish you guys nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, most of all, wisdom. Don't be crazy. Do your due diligence. Family, I love you guys. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. And with that, I love you. I'm out. Peace.